Evening and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport. We are back and it is another round or another part of action of SimPlay Motorsport. I'm your host, Mathew Duffin, joined in the box once again, or back should I say, with my partner in crime. That is Unorthodox. Dan Davis is back in the box with me. It's great to have him here. It's great to be back. And Dan, it's great to get going once again.
Oh, I'm so excited for a new SimPlay season. We're back underway here for a brand new season, and yeah, back in the Pro-Am. I'm back with my good friend Mathew Duffin in the commentary box. This is going to be a great night's worth of race. It's going to be an exciting season because we've got so many changes, so many new things to quickly discuss within a 10-minute qualifying session. So I'm going to shut up and let Matt get on with the show. But nice to see you all, and looking forward to tomorrow night.
It's going to be a fascinating one, and like you say, so many changes, so many different faces and new people out there on the grid, as well as new cars, which we are hoping to see one of later on this afternoon. That is the Ford Mustang. That was the big talking point. Got released last Friday properly, where it was able to be used. Possible delays was in talks of happening for the season, but the Kunos got it all up and working, so we may see a Ford Mustang out here this afternoon when Kieran Argent is in the lobby, which is great to see him back as well. But we've got a lot of new faces and a lot of new changes. One of the big changes, Dan, this year is the reverse grid. The reserve drivers this season will now be starting from the back of the grid. They will not be reversed into that championship order. They will start behind the effective championship leader. That is huge going into each week.
It is indeed. I mean, it helps the championship leader be a little bit more forward up in the grid, but also it does risk their cars being in the danger zone to reserve drivers who have nothing to lose. They're here just to enjoy the racing and even get just stats to their name. So it's definitely a big curveball, and especially with the way things running now this season, it might be completely different, you know, especially with the new rules and the new format. It's going to be very interesting how these reserve drivers and championship contenders will deal with, especially the back end of the season.
It is indeed, as well as now the other big change is that pit stop window is, yes, it's still the 15 minutes, but it's now a mandatory 25 seconds stationary to refuel. Now, even if you add 1 litre of fuel, it will hold you for 25 seconds. Now, in the sprint race, this will kind of be null and void because you're not really going to look at that too much. Where the strategy comes into it is the feature race. An extra 5 seconds you can change tyres. For drivers that we've seen in the past, like Fury, who's not participating this year, sadly, it's going to be interesting to see what drivers like him would do, whether they go for that tyre change option and lose extra 5 seconds in the pits or not. As well as that second race being an hour long, not 45 minutes. Strategy there to play out.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, if you're a driver like an example is my father, Kelly Davis, who tends to nurse and look after the tyres, you could save 5 seconds. And those 5 seconds could be, you know, anything and everything. You know, if you've been involved in contact as well, you've got to add the damage time on top of what you gain. So it could be from 5 seconds to 10 seconds you save. You just don't know. So it could be anyone's guess. And with the hour-long race, I know the fact that a lot of drivers will be either learning to nurse the tyres or they'll just go completely flat out. And the other exciting thing, especially with the sprint, is if they're clever and they do it correctly, they're able to go at their fastest qualifying pace near enough every single lap in the sprint. So it's going to be interesting to see how things pan out, and I'm interested to see which car seems to be the dominant one, because a lot of people seem to be ticking one car again, but it's not a championship winning car.
It's not. The latest update that's brought us the Ford Mustang, as we've seen and read online, has brought us quite the bop changes, and we're already seeing that in the testing, Dan, aren't we, that the McLaren doesn't seem to be what it was. Diesel has just gone a little wide out Brundle and Nelson. That's going to ruin his lap. So let's jump down to car 333. That is then Brian Craig, who's back for another season with Team Merlo. He'll be the first man to get a flying lap on the board. But like we say, Dan, that is going to be huge just in terms of what this is going to be this season. That McLaren seems to have been a little hampered.
It does a bit, but I also think the McLaren is always a good car. No matter what you do with it, it is always... Every car has its disadvantages. I know the McLaren suffers a lot in the dirty air, so when it's in the pack, it seems to struggle a lot more. But on its own, on a one-lap pace, as you can see, Brian goes top with the McLaren. It is probably the best time trial car out there, but it's not just about one lap though, it's about the entire long season, and I do think, you know, the front engine cars will be looking a lot stronger. The BMWs, for example, I was even toying with a front engine car for this season, and but I never got the confidence quite in it, but it would have been nice to see that on the grid. Plus I wasn't able to edit it, which annoyed me.
Yeah. Good evening to Paul Williams in the chat, Gary Clarwell, as well as Terra Nova and Insert Coin. Good evening to all of them. You'll see 3 of them tomorrow. Paul Williams is out there tonight, currently your provisional poleman. Who's coming around to finish lap? Car 77. That'll be Micro J's running in the BMW for this afternoon. We'll quickly go through the drivers on the warm-up lap and see who we expect to do what. Micro J's comes towards the line and puts it into P8 currently as car 53 now heads to the line. That is DJ Phil Green, who I must say, Dan, that livery in the showroom looks rather nice.
It's disgusting.
He comes towards the line now, and across the line he goes. He goes up into P7. Car 44 is next. That is Dean Wysocki running in his BMW M4 this afternoon. What can he do tonight? This is going to be interesting. He goes P9. Just behind him then is car number 3 of Max Mulder, expecting good things from Max this season. And there you go, P1 already. Just behind him is car 31. That is the cranky duckhead in the Honda NSX, which is one of the cars that got a little boost from the bot packages this week. That seems to be a little stronger for these drivers, as Dizzle is now about to come to the line once more before the 333 again.
The one thing we've got to mention as well, obviously last season we had the Pro-Am champions, most of them either had to be promoted or they weren't able to race in Pro-Am. So Mathew won't be able to defend his title in Pro-Am, but we ain't got no Flem Speed 1 in this category either. But John Goudet has stayed in Pro-Am and he has changed cars, and obviously the whole thing we've done was to make sure the hot stints matched the actual general pace, and we had other drivers improve and ended up in Pro. So John Goudet is staying in Pro-Am, and it gives him a second attempt really to try and win the title. If he does win it, he will be forced to go into Pro.
He will be forced to go into Pro, and this is going to be the interesting thing about this season. This is what we are looking forward to, and indeed what we are looking to try and see what these drivers can do this season. It's going to be a huge one for them all in terms of the racing out there. The car 38 is coming towards the end of the lap. That then is the other Dean, as Robert Smith gets in, and Kieran Argent. We get the Ford Mustang in for race 1, so that is great to see that we're going to see the new car out there. But here comes Dean towards the line before his previous teammate Dan and former Constructors winner, let's not forget Hypertech, and John Goudet and Dean, the current Constructors champions.
Yep, indeed, but they've gone separate teams from what I believe, so they're different. They're against each other, still under the same name. One's a junior, one's a senior. John guessing being the owner of the teams anyway, but going against one another. But it is the McLaren, like I said, with the 1 lap pace at the top with Max Mulder, but not too far behind is probably the second best 1 lap pace car. It's probably the Ferrari behind of Michelle, and then Paul Williams rounding out the top 3. As I say that, Dizzle goes fastest with the BMW, and the BMW's had a lot of work done as he now gets himself into the 47s.
Yep, starting to break into the 47s. Here comes B. Craig then, 1.4 off the back at the moment. He moves himself up into P5. We've then got car 18. That is Diego Flores. If you don't recognise that name, that is Player Man from last season. He is in the Porsche. Here comes Paul Williams. He stays P4 at the moment. Car 96. That is Sam from the FBR stable. What is he going to do before we're going to get to see P. Raiden, PN Motorsport? Dan is a reserve for this season. Dan and running the Aston Martin V12, going for one of the older cars. Yet to set a lap time on the board. What's he going to do as he breaks the timing beam? Not on a flyer, so we'll have to go again.
Yeah, definitely a tricky car to get around the circuit, and he'll be hoping to use that mainly at Indianapolis, but being a stand-in, he's not really going to get much time really to do anything with it, but we'll see how it gets on later on in the season. But already Dizzle stomping his ground and already saying, look, I'm in the BMW, I'm going to be taking the championship, as I'm now looking to the number 8 of John Goudet coming to the line now. He is on a valid lap. He's currently 2.4 off the pace in the Aston Martin instead of the Mercedes, and it puts him in 10th place. He's got DJ Phil right behind him, and he now goes into 13th place position.
Next to the line, then Max Mulder currently 6.5 temps. Don't forget 2 qualifying sessions tonight for all of these drivers. The only round where we'll have back-to-back qualifying sessions. After that, it will be the reverse grid, and Max Mulder goes within 1,000th of a second of Dizzle, who is coming down to start one last flying lap. It is a long lap around this Snetterton circuit. Good evening to Miguel, who says good luck to Goudet and Bell. Go, go, go. And Plava, the BMW, the best car ever made, and Benedict Varga. What a legendary commentary pairing that is. Thank you for the kind words. Car number 18, that then is player man himself, Diego Flores, coming round Murray's end for the final time. Yes, named after the great Murray Walker. Down towards the start line he is going to come. What is his lap time going to be from Diego Flores? Currently 16th place, needs a couple of attempts to jump. Cranky doesn't get them. P. Williams stays P4. Car 96 is then next. That I cannot find the number. That was Sam, who remains P3. Then I believe it is car 66 once again. That is P. Raiden. And let's mention something about P. Raiden, because obviously we have the brand new Patreon system. And if you want to become a patron, make sure you head over. I actually need to get the link in the description for tomorrow's broadcast. PN was our first ever Patreon, and what that requires you, it gives you certain perks. One of the perks, even though he's a reserve, he gets that number 66, Dan.
He does indeed. As a Fat Bloke comes to the line, the head of the FBR boys, he now goes in 15th place position. And I've got to give out a shout out to the FBR boys. They put on a fantastic show throughout the off season, and a massive thank you to them once again. They've actually given up a lot of their time throughout this season to actually focus on SimPlay. So if any of the SimPlay boys do fancy running a race on a Sunday night, head over to the FBR Discord as well. Give them support as we've been giving them, as they've been giving us the support. It'd be great to give them everything we possibly can in return. It's been phenomenal working with them and running with them.
It has indeed. Richie then to the line. He goes P3 within 4 tenths, but it isn't enough for that pole position. It is car number 42. That is Tim Ventink, who is coming towards the end of his lap. And here he comes then, the Dutchman, down in his Ferrari 296. Lovely black and pink livery that one is, as he comes across the line. He's yet to put a lap time on the board. What will it be? It's only good enough for P14. And there's only one man that can take pole position now. That is Brian Craig, who's got a lot of damage to that left-hand side of his McLaren. He's going to come to the line, and I believe he's the only one left on a lap time, because the other two that are still circulating, even though they're valid, they will not get to the end. B. Craig completes his lap. Will they get to the end then? Because car 53 is one of them, and that is DJ Phil. No, session has ended. So that then is the end of qualifying. It is Dizzle who will take that first point, and crucially that first pole position of the season.
That's bragging rights for him now. He'll be well happy with that. He'll be on pole position, the clearest run into turn 1, and especially at the sprint, you want that as soon as you possibly can. A tricky circuit to get right, especially around here at Snetterton, and I believe the BMW is probably one of the best suited around this circuit. It's got great traction, got a great run out of corners, and able to carry its speed into the fast flowing corners. But we'll keep an eye on that McLaren of Max Mulder, because he is a quick fella. As we see Mummy D in the chat saying hi all, and also Sammy in the chat with a thumbs up. Good race to everyone, and it is going to be exciting, and Matt, I'm looking forward to it. We got a diverse of cars on the grid. We got lots of McLarens, by the looks of things, and BMW seems to be the other really popular cars. But interesting to see that one championship car had been chosen quite frequent, but one other one hasn't, and it's only down to 2 other drivers who really picked it.
Porsche.
Lambo.
Yes. Yeah, there's not many Lambos out there on the grid, which is a shame.
It is a shame, but also I'm not sure why. It's definitely, for me, I find it the best all-rounder, the easiest to learn, to be quick in. But you know, if things actually went planned in testing, we might have seen me in a Lexus, but that never happened. Yeah,
exactly. Sorry, apologies. I'm just having to change something there, because I put somebody's name down as their name. They didn't sign up with their name, so I just had to sort something on the spreadsheet. That is all good then. So like we said, Diz takes the first pole position of the season. So Dizzle then, he made 4 appearances last year. He's running the BMW M4, currently your pole sitter out there. And he's showing good early pace, Dan. That's going to be interesting to see how he can keep up this start to his season, as the cranky duckhead misses the start of this race.
He's a lucky boy because back in the PS4 days, he'd be a lap down, but luckily PS5, well, PS5 to Xbox, it's now you won't be a lap down. I'm now locked out, so that's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, obviously, the Pro-Am boys have got it a little bit easier. So a lot of these boys will be a little bit inexperienced and really trying to perfect them skills. So it's very easy for drivers to make mistakes. So in Pro-Am, it's whoever makes the least amount of mistakes. But you can always recover, especially in the first race. You've really got to pick your fights. You've really got to know what's what. And I think what we need to do, what the Pro-Ams really need to do is just make as little mistakes as possible and keep it on the black stuff, because that will get you in the championship, especially with, like, it's open wide to any of these drivers now.
Yeah, it really is open wide to any of these drivers. It's going to be an interesting one to see what these drivers will do. DJ Phil just qualifying inside that top 10 position. So let's go through the grid then. Dizzle is in the BMW M4. Max Mulder running in the McLaren 720S Evo, the pink and black livery for BSP Racing. Mirko Ricci is running in the Ricci Corsa McLaren 720S Evo. Sam, I believe, was Sam P3? I got Ricci down as P3, so I'm not sure why Sam is listed as P3. He's running in the P5, Aston Martin Team FBR car. Ricci Michelle is running in the Ferrari 296. Now, I had him down as the McLaren, so interesting there. I'll have to speak with him about that one. Paul Williams is back in his Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2. B. Craig for Team Merlot, running in the McLaren 720S. S2M Borough Bex, P. Williams' teammate, is in the Stage 2 Motorsport McLaren 720S. Justin Winter teaming up with the current Constructors Champions in Pro-Am, Greasy Bandit Racing, in the Porsche 992. DJ Phil, he's for FSO Juniors in the Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2. John Gooday in the Aston Martin Vantage V8, like Dan says, going from Mercedes to Aston Martin. Interesting choice. Darren Bell, new driver to the grid, racing for Water Racing. Out there, Mark Tucker for Team Merlot in the McLaren 720S. Tim Ventink in the BSP Ferrari 296. Dean, Constructors winner, on his own today as an independent Greasy Bandits Junior. For him, Fat Bloke for Team FBR represents the Mercedes AMG GT3. Graham Sutcliffe demoted down to Pro-Am. He is the man who is 17th. He's in a turquoisey blue BMW M4. Diego Flores, aka Playerman, in the FSO Juniors Porsche 992. Dean Wysocki in a BMW M4, who's a little bit behind the pack at the moment, is Dean. He's going to have to catch that up. That might be as it's gone 2x2. Micro J's in his BMW M4 Independent. John Andrews in the BMW M4 Independent. BM Motorsport Independent in his Aston Martin Vantage V12. Kieran Argent running the brand new and interesting to see this afternoon Ford Mustang. Robert Smith, the BMW M4. Cranky Duckhead starting from the pit lane as well. But Dan, they're coming into Murray's, and we're about to go for the first time this season.
Boogity boogie, let's go racing. I can't wait. Let's get things underway here. It's Snetterton, it's round one, it's Pro-Am. We're going to be crowning a brand new champion this season. Who's it going to be?
None of these boys have won the championship. I think Max Mulder's won a Pro-Am championship. Apart from that, no one else has won one. But for the first time this season, we are about to be here at Snetterton, green and go, where it's light cloud for the racing. In fact, it's clear skies, it says, for today's racing. And the action you see already in the background, how the field is very congested. And one of the Michels looking to go up the inside of Dizzle. But Max Mulder holding him strong around the outside. That is one of the Aston Martins, I believe it was Sam, who was very wide. Max Mulder taps the back of Dizzle, and around they go over the sausage curb, and Max has got to be steady on the rejoin, because everybody now is going to filter past P1 and 2, and there's more dramas. That is Justin Winter, and I believe his teammate Hypertech on the gravel, and one of them is off, and that is not the start for the Greasy Bandit team. I believe Hypertech has gone stage left somewhere, and is well in the wall.
Yeah, he's gone way off on the turn 3. He's way gone, and there's more contact further up ahead the road, and there's all sorts of cars. The orange car of B. Craig has been Tucker has been bumped down the order, so Mark Tucker really struggling in the mid pack, but we've managed to get going under here. But it's been Richie leading the way at this stage ahead of Michelle, so it's Richie Corsa 1-2 at the minute. They've switched now as Sam in the FBR Aston Martin really showed what he could do after watching what Alex did in the Aston Martin. He's really going to give it a go as they head up towards the left-hander. Really difficult braking zone as he looks to the outside. and try and be braver on the brakes. He's going to give it a go. He'll have the inside, but not quite an enough overlay.
No, not enough overlap there for Sam to get the job done. B. Craig's up to 4, P. Williams running 5th, Justin Winter 6th. Then it's Tim Ventic, S2M Burrabex, Graham Sutcliffe from by the back up to P9 already running well. Then it's Darren Bell, Fat Bloke, Mark Tucker, Dean, Robert Smith, Diego Flores, Micro Jays. Kieran Argent was behind Jays. I'm not sure what's happened to him because that is now Dizzle. Behind Dizzle is Max Mulder. Then it is saying Dean Wasocki, which it is. Then it's saying DJ Phil. John Andrews will wait till they come across the line just after the back of DJ Phil before we can see, but there is a car off. That looked like it was number 18. It is. It's Diego Flores nearly reversing onto the circuit at Murray's. That is not what he'd have wanted to do. P. Radin, not sure what's happened to him, but he is so far behind the pack. It is unreal. Robert Smith into the pits before the pit window has even opened. So behind Dean Wasocki was DJ Phil, but it's now saying Kieran Argent's in between them. So Kieran Argent must have got past John Andrews, John Goddard, Cranky Duckhead, Robert Smith, Diego Flores, P. Radin and Kieran Argent in that Mustang. He's had rivalries with DJ Phil and Dean Wasocki and already commencing them rivalries on the opener of Pro-Am.
It is indeed, and we've got the pit window open now so they can pit within this time, and already we're seeing at the front Sam has got underneath Richie, and Richie's going to try and hold it strong on the outside if he possibly can, but he's not going to do it into Hamilton, and Sam runs a little bit wide in the Aston Martin B, manages to check up and stay in front, but Richie gets really close to the rear end, and now Brian Craig is looking to get involved, and Paul Williams as well. All these guys concertinaing up, all due to the fact that Richie went wide at the hairpin, and he's struggling in that McLaren because now Sam's pulled away and he's under pressure from Brian Craig.
He is under pressure from Brian Craig, and this is a great start for Team Merlo as he's going to pull out on the back of then Richie coming down towards Brundle and Nelson. P. Williams sort of having a look, but Mirko keeps it strong for the first part of Brundle. Little wiggle, but you can slow down and really park it on the apex into Nelson, and he does just that, and already it's Richie Michelle leading the way from Sam, Mirko, Richie, with B. Craig, P. Williams, Tim Ventic and Justin Winter and S2M Burrabex all over the back of each other, coming through the bomb hole and Coram. It's been a great start to this Snetterton race. Now the pit window opens. Now's the time to do your 25-second pit stop. That is what is mandatory for this race. And are we going to see any early pit runners in this pack?
Round.
Oh, he is round. What happened, Dan?
He hit the curb into the final corner and he's just gone facing the wrong way around. I don't know if he had contact. I literally just was scrolling through the order and there he's facing the wrong way, and now he's having to wait for the entire pack to come through.
There's contact at turn 1, sorry. Graham has tapped Tim Ventic wide at Richie's, and Graham, normally a clean driver, sends one on the inside. Now he's been spun around by that of Darren Bell, and he's been spun right around and he cannot move now.
He's managed to find a little gap. Graham has. He's managed to get it going, but he's spun round again. He's stuck on the dirt. Tyres are hot, and he's trying to get going again. Nearly made his contact with Dean Wasocki, but it's been really easy for Richie Mitchell at the minute, pulling away in front with Sam in second. Richie really struggling in the third place position, but he's got B. Craig as Winters ran wide, and that's allowing S2M Burrabex through.
So Burrabex up another place. Darren Bell's going to be looking on that. There's a few battered Pro-Am cars out there. Ventec's gone wide. Dizzle now up into P10. He's gone through. Kieran Argent debut in the Mustang tonight. He's running P11. Dean's up to 12th. Dean Wasocki's 13th with Graham.
There's an accident in the middle of the track where we've got Tim and several McLarens, and Argent's gone around the outside of all of them. But there's a big incident between. I'm trying to figure out.
That's Darren Bell and Mark Tucker.
Yeah. So all sorts of chaos, and Winter now trying to pressurise onto the back of S2M Burrabex as he's trying to extend that gap. But Dizzle, after the contact at the start of the race, he's managed to work his way back up to 7th place, and he's got a decent pace. He's got a fastest lap at the minute, and Argent in the Mustang from back of the pack up to 8th already, and has returned to SimPlay.
Yeah, great to see him back as well. Fat Bloke, the first of the pit runners, has just spanned the car. Max Mulder, DJ Phil, Micro Jays, Paul Williams, John Gooday all completed their pit stops, as did PM Motorsport. But look at this, as PN and John Gooday come out the pit lane, the leaders are coming through to put a lap on them. Sam was a little sideways through. Richie there managed to hang on to it, and the leaders now coming to lap some of the back markers of John Gooday and PM Motorsport, and PN finds himself in a very tricky predicament as everybody keeps going. Dean Wasocki looks like he's got some big damage, bonnet flapping around, not pitted yet, and stop go penalty. That is for Richie speeding in the pit lane, and he hasn't done his pit stop, and that looked like a pit entry cross. Exit.
Yeah, he's already in trouble now. He's got a lot of work to do.
Argent's not stopped.
The stop.
It's that good work you've just mentioned about Argent, Dan. He's just drove out the pit lane.
Some of these boys are forgetting that, yes, it's a sprint race, but you still have to do the mandatory 25-second stop. So all the boys who made all the hard work and worked their way up the order is going to bite them in the bum now. And they've had all the practice sessions. It's not changed. The new rules have been stated, and it's clear to see. And some of them have failed to do that, and it's at their own cost.
It is at their own cost, and this is now Robert Smith who's in for his mandatory. So DJ Phil will get through. Max Mulder already has as well. Micro J's will come through, and Fat Bloke's on the back of him, but towards the front then it is Justin Winter trying to put Borough Bex under pressure. Dean is trying to put Tim Ventek under pressure, or has Ventek just got past him, because Dean looked a little loose there. Dean Wisocki also loose, so what one Dean does, the other Dean copies. But at the minute, Fat Bloke and Jay, they're in a little battle. Micro J's a little deep at the hairpin, and he comes round now. The Mustang is very quick round here. Fat Bloke gets through, but the Mustang very quick, says Gary Clarbel in the chat. Well, it looked all right in Kieran's hands. He's forgot to pit, though, so that is going to cost him massively. And for Mirko Ritchie, not only has he forgot to pit, he's got a stop-go penalty. That is going to hurt him. Spinner behind him. That is John Andrews, who's around at Brundle and Nelson.
He is indeed, and he's got to try and make sure he doesn't get in anybody's way. And that's Kieran Argent coming out of the final corner. Sorry, not final corner, out of the tight, twisty section of section 3. But yeah, he's really thrown it out there as Argent. As Tim's now into the pits, is he going to get the correct pit stop done? As Graham's in there.
I've just seen Graham come out as we switch to Justin Winter at turn 1. I believe he's just parked on the grass, returned to pit lane. I think he's forgot his pit stop. So I'm not quite sure. Don't hold me to that one. But Tim Ventek, Mirko Ritchie and Kieran Argent all now into the pit lane. No one else yet in the pits.
Lead gap has come down to 7/10. So Richie Mitchell was after a little bit of pressure now from Sam. Sam's really got the power of the FBR events really up behind him now. He's really on the move to try and catch onto the back of Richie as best he can, and he's bringing Brian with him and S2M Borough Betts. And Winter looked very good at 1 minute, but the classic Porsche tail was sticking out and wanting to go around. But we see Dizzle now looking to make a move on a lapped car and moves his way through.
Yeah, moves his way through. I believe that was on John Gooday there then. So he is up another place, and that is Justin Winter, who's had a big moment and has had a big spin at Brundle and Nelson. That is going to cost him. Who's that on the back? That is the Vorta racing car. That is down the order, I do believe, in a lap down. Kieran Argent on his way out of the pits. Mirko Ritchie still to pit then. And none of the leaders yet coming in, but it is Richie Michelle who leads the way from Sam. From Sam, who's just come into the pit lane. It took a while to pick him up. Then it is B. Craig, who now is running in second place. S2M Borough Bex is now third. Dizzle running up in P4. Jay Winter stays out, will be running P5. Dean Wisocki is currently P7, obviously with Sam dropping down to P6. But going to be interesting to see if Dean Wisocki pulls it into the pit lane. Yes, he does. Cranky Duckhead, I thought was going to follow him, but doesn't. Mark Tucker now comes into the pit lane as well. What about the other Dean? Will he decide to pit this time around? He's currently running in P10, and he does decide to bring it into the box. John Andrews carries on his way. Diego Flores will also stay out. He is going to, and then it's just down to Michelle Ritchie. But Max Mulder, the lead driver of the pit runners, is already coming into Murray's now. Where is the race leader? That is at Hamilton. So can Max Mulder, possibly with that early pit stop in the clear air, get the jump over this traffic? As that is Kieran Argent off right in front of the leaders, and B. Craig's now getting closer to the back of that Ferrari of Richie Michelle.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I think Richie Michelle has left it a little bit too late with back markets as well. That's going to affect it's definitely going to affect the aero from the Mustang to the Ferrari, and it's really starting to hurt him. And he's got the McLaren hunting him down with a BMW not too far behind. Max Mulder did manage to get back out on track ahead of Sam, so Max Mulder is looking good to retake this lead away from the leading pack. But maybe Sam was a little bit complacent as he came in. Maybe he had damage, we just don't know. But Max Mulder, he hasn't been doing purple sectors, he hasn't been fastest so far, so it'll be interesting to see where all this comes out. But Richie Mitchell holding everyone up now.
Yeah, indeed he is. And that is, I believe, Robert Smith, the 117. B. Craig's going to pit. Yes, so Robert Smith was also there. Michelle into the pits. That is also Dizzle into the pits. Justin Winter then, with 6 minutes left off this pit window. Interesting to see where they're pitting. Justin Winter comes in. The pit lane, let's not forget, kind of like a little chicane on the entry into the pit lane. So all these drivers now starting to pit from the lead of this race. It's been a great start to the season here at Snetterton already. Been absolutely fantastic. Cranky Duckhead will bring it into the box. Just waiting now for John Andrews. Noting that Dean Wasocki come out ahead of M. Ritchie. That's really going to hurt M. Ritchie, that stop-go penalty, because if you look at the gaps behind him, I think all Ball Sutty are going to get past him.
Yeah, indeed. As we can see, I'm watching currently Max Mulder coming into the final sector now, and he's really pushing as Dizzle has gone green, and he's got his stop done, so he's going to retain this lead. What on earth is everybody doing? It's repairing damages because Dizzle's back out.
Well, Richie Michelle came into the pits before Dizzle and didn't complete his mandatory pit stop. So Dizzle is the net
changing tyres.
Dizzle is the net race leader. If people are changing tyres in this 20-minute race, that is absolutely crazy.
Maybe they're forgetting to turn it off.
Possibly, and the two Richies have forgot to complete their stop with Kieran Argent and Graham Sutcliffe. They forgot to complete their stop, so the lead cars are S2M Borough Bex, Richie Michelle, John Andrews. From this of Dizzle and Max Mulder, but it's really Dizzle now with Richie Michelle going to have to pit again, who is the net race leader. B. Craig looks like he sat on the podium. Great scrap, Cranky Duckhead down there with Fat Bloke. In fact, no, I think it may have been Micro J's. The timing screen says Fat Bloke, but Micro J's has just got past him. DJ Phil's not a million miles away. Dean Wasocki trying to get past DJ Phil. He's just been overtaken by M. Ritchie, who's still got to do his pit stop within the next 4.5 minutes.
It'd be interesting to see what S2M Borough Bex does now. If he actually has turned his tyres off and made sure he doesn't have the repair for the car as well, he should be able to come back in front of Dizzle, because he was in front. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens now. But Dizzle and Max Mulder, after their little coming together at the start of the race, has managed to regain all that time and work their way up.
Oh, DJ Phil's had a massive moment through Hamilton's, and round he goes. Dean Wasocki and Paul Williams come through. Now Dean's had a moment to Tuggies. Oh, he loses the core into the path of Paul Williams, and DJ Phil's going to retake that position. And I don't think Dean repaired the damage earlier on, and he's not going to now. That is going to be...
S2M Borough Bex is on the move. He's moving as Dizzle now comes down to the start-finish straight. He's going to be off the limiter now, but it's not enough. They go through. So Max Mulder has brought the gap down to 6/10 to the leader. 6 minutes to go, and it's all still to play for the top two.
What Borough Bex has done, though, Dan, is he's jumped Brian Craig into third place. So he's got that jump in the lead. John Andrews is in the pits. Richie Michelle...
Dizzle's gone wide.
Didn't pit. Dizzle wide. That's going to give Max Mulder an opportunity. No, he's not close enough at the moment.
He was very, very close. So Dizzle running wide into turn one, which then put him off into the hairpin and pushed him wide as well. So it's really, he's under some pressure from the McLaren driver behind. Brian Craig, nowhere really near this fight at the minute, but we'll see what S2M Borough Bex can do if these two start squabbling again.
If these two start squabbling, Borough Bex is only 5.1 behind, so he's really in the thick of this battle. Dan, keep an eye on that. We're just going down to Micro J's Cranky Duckhead as Micro J's has moved himself up to P9. The other battle between Diego Flores and Tim Ventink is brewing through Richie's. Ventink going to have a look maybe in towards Wilson at the hairpin. He pulls out, has a look, tucks back in and thinks better of it, and then Diego Flores very wide and pretty much invites Tim to come up the inside, and that is job done. And Diego Flores indicator on. Battle behind that as well. That is Dean Wasocki and Mark Tucker. You feel that Mark Tucker is going to get past Dean in towards Palmer's now, but doesn't have a look. Dean with a lot of damage on that car, just dropping down the order. There is no one else. Dean's had a moment. He's in the wall just as I was looking away. And that is Argent through, as well as Robert Smith is going to probably come through yet. So Dean damaged and wounded and down the order again.
Max Mulder's really hustling the back of that BMW, and he's really trying to find everything he can. He's had a great exit out of the final corner. Now, has he got the grunt to stay in the slipstream of the BMW? He knows that Dizzle struggled last time round in Sector 1. This is going to be close. It will look for the hairpin for him to get a good run into there as they come flying into turn 1. Dizzle under some pressure here from Max Mulder. He keeps it clean this time, and Max Mulder not close enough to really do anything with that.
He looks like he's getting close out that final corner, but then through the first sections where he's losing his time. He's gained it all up through Wilson, though, was Max Mulder on the back here of Dizzle. Max Mulder, I believe, a Pro-Am champion towards the end of Project Cars 2 days. He's got multiple race wins in the Audi, yeah. Teamed with Leon Fernie, I believe, that season. He's got multiple race wins to his name this in his SimPlay career. 18 race wins to his name in 83 race starts. So he's got the race wins. He knows how to win a race. And he's trying to go one more. For Dizzle, though, this is race start number 5 at SimPlay Motorsport, and it could be his very first race win. Ritchie now into the pits. This is where we're going to see him tumble down this leaderboard. And Graham Sutcliffe, whatever has gone wrong for him, he's a lap down to the entire field.
Argent's about to get past. Argent's now under pressure from Robert Smith. Robert Smith looking into turn 1, but can't quite get close enough. Argent closed the door on him going down the start-finish straight, but it was very close between those two, as Dizzle still trying to keep that gap ahead of Max Mulder. Sam's also putting Justin Winter under some pressure as well. So all the fights are now starting to happen towards the end of this race as Max Mulder has made contact with Dizzle.
That's the second time in this race, and they've both gone around, and Max is doing the sensible thing and waiting for Dizzle to get going. But here comes Borough Bex. He's not going to wait for anybody. Swoops around the outside of the bomb-hole of Max and carries on his way. Max once again hits the back of Dizzle. That's twice in this race. Both times he's let him go, obviously to try and avoid a penalty there. But that is crucial. He's been twice in this race where contact has been made. Pit window is closed, and Richie Michelle just got in.
Yeah, just got in indeed, and where 2 is now become 3, and Max Mulder really, he didn't help himself out there. He just needed to be patient. He knew where the McLaren was stronger, and you could see where Dizzle was just starting to make a couple mistakes, but Max Mulder getting a little bit too eager. Contact on the rear, and now it's become a 3-way fight, as we see a couple of drivers. Tucker's dropping down the order quite quickly. He's lost out to Robert Smith and to Argent, so they're working their way up.
They're all working their way up. Diego Flores trying to catch his teammate, but he's got Tim Ventink still on the back of him. In fact, he's got back ahead. So this is going to be interesting here for Diego Flores and Tim Ventink, with Argent not a million miles away, and that then of Robin Smith. Just looking at other battles happening on the circuit. Cranky Duckhead has lost out to P. Williams as he's hunted down after Micro J's, who has just had Richie Michelle come right out the pit lane in front of him. So Jay looking for that P8, but Richie Michelle looks like he's got pace. He should probably pull away in this fight. Dizzle, though, has been tapped round twice, still somehow leads this race, and he's got Borough Bexo breathing down his neck. Max Mulder just looks like he's dropped off the back of Borough Bex through the middle sector.
Yeah, possibly so. He's got a little bit of, you know, where he's been pushing so hard behind Dizzle and then slowed down. His pressures have probably just gone a little bit weird. But this is really the really last opportunities now. The McLaren's very good in these very slow sections, and he's trying to use that advantage. It just caught the back of the BMW ever so slightly. And now S2M Borough Bex looking to try and capitalise on this. And like I said, massive respect to Max Mulder, because he did wait, he did give the position back, but he actually caused himself to lose another position. But Max looking to try and attack. Max on attack, but it's still Dizzle who will start the final lap of this race.
Yeah, indeed, it is Dizzle from Borough Bex from Max Mulder as it's the final lap of the race. We get told from race control there. Micro J's coming into Brundle, and Nelson has got P. Williams now on the back of him. What happened to Richie Michelle? He's made a mistake coming through Nelson. Jay has a look going into the bomb hole. And Jay said in week in testing, someone's going to be crazy to have a look there. And Jay, it was you. As Kieran Argent tried to get on the back of Tim Ventink. What has happened to Ventink there? Because he's now all of a sudden behind DJ Phil. In fact, no, he's still in the same position. So who has dropped? Diego Flores is the car that's dropped out. He's lost out to Kieran Argent and Robin Smith. He's got Tucker on the back of him in this race. And yeah, already just looking down as well, Mirko Ritchie did have Dean Wazocki on the back of him. He's now catching the Vorta Racing car.
Max Mulder's gone wide in the infield and just losing time to S2M Borough Bex, and I think this is possibly S2M Borough Bex's first opportunity to win a race, and also Dizzle. So these two are going at it, and you can see Dizzle's just struggling in the slow corners, but he's able to then pull away in the fast corners as the two McLarens are waiting for the smallest mistakes, but they are running out of time. They've got 2 heavy braking zones left.
They need to do it here, but they're not close enough. This is really the last chance. You can't see them doing it through Coram. You just cannot. Dizzle does not need to make a mistake now. Go as slow as you like through Nelson. And he manages to run onto the curb. And now Dizzle from Borough Bex from Max Mulder. This is going to be the end of the first race. And this is going to be a fantastic end to a great opener here at Snetterton. As Dizzle round the bomb hole into Coram now. He's going to come round to Murray's. Was that Max Mulder wide? I'm not sure. Stop-go penalty. That is for Dean Wysocki. I assume that'll be for track limits. As Dizzle then is going to come down the line and he's going to take his first race win of the season and his first race win at SimPlay Motorsport with the fastest lap from S2M Borough-Bex and then Max Mulder. What a race, what a drive that was.
Brian Craig coming home for fourth. Sam with good pace earlier on. He comes home for fifth. Justin Winters, a good start for him in the Porsche P6. Fat Bloke coming from near enough the mid-pack. Solid drive from him up into seventh. Richie Mitchell, who looked like he had pretty much the race under control until later on in the race and losing out and dropping down to eighth place with Paul Williams that will come home in ninth. And Micro J's is looking to make it into the final corner, but not quite close enough. A very, very solid drive from Micro J's to work his way up into the top 10.
Yep, so Richie Michelle P8, Paul Williams P9, Micro J's P10. Good race for him. Cranky Duckhead in the Honda. Going to come home for P11. Not bad, say he missed the start of the race. He'll cross the line now. DJ Phil is going to get P12. The Mustang just missing out. Very close for Argent on the line. Robert Smith 14th, sorry. Graham Sutcliffe 25th and a lap down on the pack. Tim Ventink on his debut P15. Diego Flores will cross the line for P17 as Mark Tucker beats him for 16th place. John Gooday, not the start to his championship he'd have wanted in the constructors' defence. He'll come home for 18th place. John Andrews will look for a solid P19 in this one, and then it'll be Dean the Greasy Bandits Junior driver who will come home for P20. Mirko Ritchie for 21st, Darren Bell for 22nd. P Raiden has beat Dean Wysocki to 23rd. As the Aston Martin V12 driver comes down the start straight now.
And Dean will also have a time penalty added to him as well due to not doing the stop and go penalty. But yeah, that's race one done already. And we've got so many more races to go. 23 races still left of the season.
23 races left off the season. That's the other big news, is the fact that the season is longer this time around. But that was the race win for Dizzle at the start of this one. We, though, will be right back in a few moments' time with the second qualifying and the second race. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, for race 2 of the afternoon. It is the second qualifying here at SimPlay Motorsport, and Dizzle getting himself back out on the circuit to be the first man out there on track after taking his first race win and BMW's first race win of the season. To the championship standings, obviously, after race 1. Oh, one thing to mention this year as well is drop scores are back. So your lowest score from week 1 to 10, it does not include the final 2 weeks, all back for this year, with the season being up to 12 weeks. They are back, and your current championship leader is basically race results from that first race. Champ Constructors, though, Stage 2 Motorsport 7 points clear of Team FBR. BSP Racing are third, 13 points behind. Team Merlot P4, Greasy Bandit P5, with Richie Corsa P6, FSO Junior P7, Greasy Bandit Junior is an independent P8, and Water Racing independent P9. In the manufacturers, it is McLaren, 32 clear of BMW, then it is Aston Martin, Porsche, Lamborghini, Mercedes, Ferrari, Honda, Ford. And I expect a little bit of McLaren dominance. There is 2 McLarens more than there is BMWs at the moment. That's not going through the whole of Pro just yet. So a few more names to add onto my spreadsheet. But at the minute, that'll probably be that way. But Dan, what an opener to this race.
Yeah, definitely indeed. We've had all sorts of drama straight away. We've got a new race winner already under our belt. It's been a dramatic start to the season already, and I'm looking forward to more. We're into another qualifying session, second qualifying session of the session. And as you said, those drop scores, never been a fan of them, but they have made a return. They have come back, and yeah, we'll see how that will affect the rest of the season. So you can't really predict what's going to happen until the drop scores start taking into effect. So you literally got to be on the ball as you go along all the time.
As Dizzle now is coming down towards the start line to start his first lap in this qualifying. Darren Bell, B. Craig, not yet out there on the circuit. We've lost PM Motorsport. He is not taking part in this second race. So we will be down one driver for race 2. But it is going to get underway, and it was lovely to see a lot of people in the chat as well, Dan. A lot of chitty chat going off in there during that first race, and a few good compliments about some clean racing.
Yeah, definitely indeed, and that's what we like to see. We like to see everyone supporting the drivers, and yeah, as much as we all like to go racing, we do like to see some great racing as well. And it's nice to see you guys in the chat, and it's nice to hear your opinions and see who you're supporting and getting behind. And well, obviously we'll be looking to you for driver of the day later on as well, and me and Matt will vote as well, and we'll try and get some of the Xbox boys in. We'll try with the Discord and see if that works, but yeah, it's definitely nice to see some chit chat going on, and we want to see more of it. We want to hear from you guys. Indeed
we do. Like we said, we'll try and bring interviews at the end of the day, as well as bring you driver of the day for sure. But it's so far going to be a great day for the BMW and for this man Diz. A pole, fastest lap and a race win. Clean sweep, but can he do it for the full day? That is the big thing. BMW are now on 48 pole positions, and they now take their 41st race win in terms of overall race wins here at SimPlay Motorsport. McLaren now move above Lamborghini in terms of podiums for that's outright, and BMW now getting their first podium as well. Put them just 12 behind the Bentley, and I reckon that could be beaten this season, could catch the Bentley. A few milestones to be had throughout this week at the moment. BMW's 50th pole being one of them, Overtaker's 25th pole being another, and if I'm able to race tomorrow, my 200th race start in race 2. Most successful drivers around this circuit, by the way. The Only G, 2 race wins. Dean Wasocki, 1 race win. Smokey Devil, 1 race win. NJ, a pole and a win. Hitman, a pole and a win. Fury, 2 poles and a win. Aidan Bennett, a pole and a win. And Andy, 2 poles, no wins.
Yeah, but we all know who goes really well around here. We know who.
You say that, but he's not on that list.
He's not on that list, no, but whenever we do anything at Snet, we haven't really run Snet a lot, to be honest. It's one of those circuits that we kind of avoid. But no, we obviously know a particular, I say young man, that's quite good at British circuits. That is the old 131. And I'm still shocked that he's not on that list, but maybe he'll prove us wrong tomorrow as Graham goes fastest and then into the wall in turn 1.
Brilliant. You know who else goes well at British tracks?
Yourself?
You strangely. you weirdly, you hate them. You always say how much you detest them and hate them and don't like them.
Oh, I hate
but you always do well at them. You always do well at them.
Other than possibly Donington Park, can you actually name a decent decent track.
That's on these race games now. Donington is it. Donington is it.
Thruxton.
Yeah, Thruxton, but it's not on anything unless you get a mod or have R-Factor 2.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice to see. Diz dominated race 1, dominated the first qualifying session. 2 old boys back at the top of the leaderboard, eh? They've been here from day one and they're at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, but how long is that going to last? We know that Max Mulder and Diz could do a 47 at least. So, but it's nice to see the Argent's adjusting to the Mustang, and then it's nice to see the Mustang here. I mean, it's very, for a lot of these guys, especially the Xbox boys, it came out a lot later, and not a lot of practice in them, and it's a bold move going for it. And Argent's not raced since the PS4 days, so it's been a long time. Silverstone, yeah boring. Silverstone's boring as well.
I'll agree with you.
But it's actually, for me, honestly, Thruxton is the only one I can think of. Donington Park is good. It gives a dynamic difference, but Silverstone has to be good because it's got Formula 1. Everything else is not FIA gradable. It's not good for racing.
It's why Donington was looked at, wasn't it, for the Formula 1 a few years back. But, yeah, like you say, Kieran Argent got his PS5, what, 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago? If that. The Mustang came out last Friday properly to be able to use on all servers. And he's gone, well, I don't know.
Wouldn't stop telling me about that.
He's gone, well, I've done my hot stint in the Mercedes. I don't really know any other car. Why not? And what an attitude. Not only has he got to learn this game on this version, but why not learn the new car? You don't know what it's going to do, and nobody else knows what it's going to do and how strong it's going to be. So, interesting, bold move from Kieran. We'll see how it plays out this season. Great to see Kieran Argent back on the grid. Tim Venting goes into P20 at the moment. Car number 31 is coming to the line. That is the cranky Duckhead. He crosses the line now and goes up to P10 himself. Cadwell would be a mess, Ian Gray.
As would not kill.
I've just read that comment. PN said play the Tokatori Cars games. If only they remastered them. And then the next comment said Cadwell would be insane. Jeez.
Yeah, it would be insane, but at the same time, I mean, if we actually have a look at the calendar this season, there's only a handful that I'm actually looking forward to. What have we got? We got Snetterton at the first round, Red Bull Ring, Brands Hatch is the third round. Round 4 is Second the Americas. Round 5 is Indianapolis. Round 6 is Paul Ricard. 7 is Laguna Seca. 8th is Hungaroring. 9 is Watkins Glen. 10 is Zandvoort. 11th is Zolder, and finally Valencia, rounding off the season. So it's very much a goes with money, but it's a very unorthodox season. This is very. I feel like I should be having a bald eagle on my shoulder while standing, holding my heart to my chest while having the stars and stripes on my back. I know Tibbs is going to be happy with this season, but I'm looking forward though to yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to the Red Bull Ring on this game is phenomenal. It's brilliant. Watkins Glen is just brilliant as well. Fantastic circuit, especially on this. But the one I've really fallen in love with is Indianapolis. Indianapolis and Valencia is going to be interesting because it's a bike circuit. Diesel now goes fastest.
It is a bike circuit indeed. We've already done one bike circuit. We've gone from Mazzano to now try this one out. So Diesel fastest, just Pippin Graham. DJ Phil stays 15th place. Ventic is just behind him. He moves himself up into P8. Car 31 is next. That is the cranky Duckhead. Before car 3 of Max. Where is Max? He's down the order. Oh, he's 13th.
Yeah, he's struggling at the minute, but he's got a longer qualifying session this time. He's got time to get it together. Before you lot start asking and wondering where the Nordschleife is, it's in Germany, and if you want to drive it, go and get a ticket and fly over and drive it, because I don't want to hear about the Nordschleife anymore from you guys, because it's done my head in.
Yes.
It's a ridiculous circuit.
It's stupidly... obviously, we know how famous it is. We've obviously just had the 24 hours of the Nordschleife this weekend, which they raced for about 5-6 hours, and it got cancelled, got red flagged. Weather check at 7 a.m. So 6 a.m. our time in the morning because of the fog. I turned it on at midday and they'd cancelled the race. Order was done after 6 hours of a 24-hour race because of the weather. So, yeah.
Yeah. Good old Nordschleife. Good old Green Hell. Do you know what circuit I would love ACC to just get on and get it done? Daytona.
Oh, the road course, yeah.
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 Our home of SimPlay for God
Many
knows
a
how long
season.
at Project Cars. For many seasons, it's been the home of SimPlay, but Daytona Road Course would be awesome. And yeah, and why not throw it in there? One of my old favourite circuits. Why not we have Bruno back?
The one from the Czech Republic, yes.
Yeah,
I
another
love
bike
that.
circuit. Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh my days, that would be con. No. Bad memories at Oschersleben. No.
Bad memories as older.
Yeah, bad memories as older, yeah, fair one. Bad memories at Oschersleben. Mike could never win at Daytona.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be a good circuit. Yeah, that'd be a great circuit. Oh, the Aston V12 around there. We realised the Aston V12 on Project Cars 2 was so overpowered at Daytona. Imagine what this would be like around here as Paul Williams.
But Daytona's, we've had some iconic moments at Daytona. We've had Fury going around the outside of me twice.
Yep.
One in the bus stop and then into the left-hand kink. Gary pulling out some blinder strategies in the wet with his brother, Little Leach, and Keegs ended up in the wall thanks to me. So
we've had some great races back there in the day. Kelly trying to hang on in a Renault was entertaining.
He got his first race win at Daytona as well.
He did. And it was great to see. Here comes Tucker down the start straight. Do you know what I'd like to see? Because this is obviously based off the GT calendars. GT World Challenge this year are at Manicourt, the old F1 French circuit. I'd love that to come to the game.
Yeah, definitely, that would be cool. But, they don't go to it, but it would be nice for it to be on here. But Interlagos.
Well, World Endurance are doing that this year, and obviously, you know, GT3s are now in that. They're no longer GTs, are they? So, yeah, well, let's see.
I tell you what, let's get some interesting comments in the chat. We want to interact with you guys more often. Let's hear from you guys in the chat. What circuit in the entire world would you love to see come to ACC for these GT cars to race on? I mean, one other thing that we've forgotten to mention, obviously, as people can probably figure out, we're not running GT2s. We didn't get enough sign-ups, we didn't get enough interest, so GT2s had to be cancelled. Would have been 6 races and 6 races only. So the next thing to look forward to, which we absolutely love here at SimPlay Motorsport, and FBR boys enjoyed it as well, we got the GT4s returning from round 7 at Laguna Seca. They will be doing 6 races, and that is going to be a very interesting couple of weeks, because it's possibly going to be changing the entire thing of SimPlay Motorsport, depending on how it goes, as Max Mulder has gone fastest overall.
He has by 600ths of a second. Graham's now down to P5, and it will, because it'll be 2 short 20-minute races, no pit stops, and ballast. And obviously being British, championship ballast, being British, and following the British touring cars, the GT4 Ginetti used to be on the package for the touring cars. They now follow the British GT, so it's, you know, that'd just be brilliant to see the GT4s with ballast on board each week for the champions. Tucker stays P12, car 68 is coming towards line. Darren Bell just in winter, and Robert Smith not done lap time. Dean 13 seconds off the pace. That suggests that he's not done a proper lap time either. So a few drivers yet to set laps. Cranky Duckhead, Micro J's in the pits. Here comes B. Craig. He's going to stay P6. Argent behind him on an invalid one. The next one is Dizzle, who needs 65 thousandths of a second to put himself back onto provisional pole. This could ebb and flow between these two all season, I reckon.
It could indeed, and I just had a moment of panic because my TV decided to just switch off suddenly. So that's going to be fun for tomorrow. So might have been having a Kelly moment where I'd be rushing for the buttons and screaming at my teammate going, don't crash into me. Yeah, I'm a bit annoyed about that. But
we had that. I'll tell you where we had that. In the endurance race. I was in my stint, coming to the end of the first stint. Dean was socket. Telly turned off 40 minutes through his stint, and then on his second stint his sim rig collapsed. You know, as the wonderful world of sim racing.
Wonderful world of sim racing. Still, no one's answered my question, and I'm going to start sounding like my dad and be like, look, I'm a bit upset, guys. Come on, let's hear from you guys. What circuit would you love to see on the calendar? Oh, sorry, not on the calendar, but on the ACC that they haven't made or developed yet. There's loads of iconic circuits. You could have street circuits. Imagine we could do finally a street circuit for once.
Long Beach.
Matt, you're not a massive fan of. It's Long Beach. You're not a massive fan of street circuits.
No.
I know that for sure. But there are some iconic street circuits out there. Obviously, Monaco being one is one we could mention.
Well, Jeddah.
Long Beach is a fantastic one.
Jeddah is on the GT Europe calendar for this year. So, yeah, exactly. Dean Wasocki doesn't improve his time at the end. Wow, 13 seconds off the pace. He's had a shocker in this qualifying session. There are drivers finishing their current lap times. DJ Phil will be the first of them. Clouden, Macau, Sebring, Road America, Portimao, Jerez. Macau, give your head a wobble. Sebring, yes. Road America, yes. Portimao, yes. Jerez, I don't know a lot about.
You don't know? Oh,
I know it, but I don't know a lot about it. Portimao, here's a fun fact for you, sorry. When we got the Red Bull Ring, there was 3 tracks in discussion to come with the GT2s. One was actually Portimao, the Algarve. Or either that, Red Bull Ring, or Hockenheim. So that's already been in discussion.
RB, I'm not impressed by those 2 choices. The Yas Marina circuit or Baku.
Could you fit one of these? Could you fit the Bentley through the castle section?
Could you fit anything through the castle section?
Jesus. The GT4s would fit. I mean, I'd rather race Yas Marina than Monaco, but yeah.
I'd rather, you know, Marion Bay. I'd rather race at Singapore.
Yeah, true. Well, qualifying's done.
Long Beach. Yeah, qualifying is though. We got a sidetracked so badly. Then.
We did get sidetracked badly, but it is Max Mulder who takes that pole position, and it is Diz then who will be in second place. So Max Mulder gaining a point back already. Where's John Goodey? Down in 12th place, and not the opening round to the season. Is that the Aston Martin? I don't know how good a car it is. I think he should have stuck with the Mercedes-Benz, if I'm going to be honest with you, but he feels comfortable in it, and he'll drive that for the rest of the year now.
We do know, obviously, obviously John Goulet quite well. He's an admin as well, so we do chat to him quite a bit. And the fact is that in his spare time, he does race on another league, and he's racing a completely different car. So could the possibility of driving a different car that's very, very different to the one he's currently racing in now, you know, would that have some form of effect?
Yeah, massively. And you know the other car, the Porsche, is what he's driving on the other league. You know the characteristics of that. And they are completely different to the Aston Martin.
Yeah, completely different. All the power is sent to the rear with the engine in the rear. It's very heavy on the rear, very loose indeed. And only particular drivers can really get the best out of it. I would say a Gary 131, a Fury CBK kind of driver would be the ones who would get the best out of the Porsche. I've tended to enjoy driving the Porsche back in the Project Cars days, but it was a very completely different animal back then. And Matt's going to tell me that I got carried for those seasons, but definitely, you know, it's it's definitely ones that it's suited to certain drivers who's able to take the slide. I was only joking. I'm glad, RB. I want your serious answer now. I don't want those 2 boring circuits. I'm just trying to think of more circuits. I'm just obsessed with circuits now. I definitely want to see Long Beach, Le Mans. If we've got the Nordschleife, let's have Le Mans.
Oh yeah, Le Mans, Sebring, Daytona, they all do big races in endurance series. Get them all on. Matt and Dan, what do you think? How they top 3 at the end of the race? Who's the top 3 at the end of the race? Good call, because this is an hour-long race, and it's going to be down to that tyre strategy. Who changes tyres, who doesn't? Max and Dizzle, you can't look past. Richie, if he gets his pit stop right. Watch for B. Craig. He had a great race. That's Trent Burrow-Bex, but Graham's qualified 5th. That's the one that interests me.
Yeah, Graham's up there now after he's had a silly 5 minutes and got himself going again. I'm going to say keep an eye on Sam.
Yeah.
I think whatever happened in the pits, there's something happened that caused him to lose time in the pits. So he seems to have an edge with that Aston, and it's definitely more stable. I think the McLaren boys, if they're stuck behind another car, are going to struggle, as will the Ferraris. But the BMWs should be quite solid. And like I said, Sam is the one to keep an eye on for me, but it's literally anyone's guess. Yes, we saw the top 3 were strong in the last one, but it all can change in an hour-long race. Very, very different concept. Yeah,
different concept, different race entirely. So remember, PN Motorsport is the car that is missing from this race. He will not take part in this one as we get ready to go racing here for the second time in the night. A lot more points on offer this season, obviously, with them extra 2 rounds and the drop score round kicking in for drivers who missed this first week. That will probably be their drop score round due to the fact that it's 0. So that will probably be them already on their drop score for this week, and that'll be their drop score done for the season. So it's going to be interesting to see what the drivers do throughout. It will benefit the more consistent driver, but what it won't benefit is drivers who miss a lot. So people like Sutty, we know works a lot. The drop scores will not benefit him because he will just miss too many and have too many non-finishers or non-starts in this race then. So McLaren taking pole. That then was its 71st pole position and just extends its form at the top of the table for pole positions. Here then, it's took 2 pole positions now this season. It took the first one in the endurance in the hands of Ian Gray, and it's taken the second one here in the hands of Max Mulder. BMW and Ferrari are the only 2 cars to win this season. The Ferrari back in the Endurance Silverstone. And if you are in the Endurance League or still interested in the Endurance League and wanted to sign up, there is still seats available. That will be back on the 13th of July, so do not miss that one. And I had to apologise to my teammate last night in that one because Kieran informed me that it will be the day after tennis. Mine and Kieran's yearly tennis match, so I apologise to Jay because I am probably going to be very stiff that next day.
Yeah, and I've lost all TV again. My TV's decided to poo itself.
Yeah.
So I'm back again. This is going to be very interesting now. I'm going to probably scream at the telly at some point. Yeah, as Bible says, Porsche changes much during the stint as the weight shifts on low and heavy fuel. It's given it a good go in this season, suckered for a punishment. And Dennis Newman, I think everything is decided with the pit stop. But if we've learned one thing, anything can happen in an hour-long race, and indeed it can. Mathew, if it was you, would you change tyres? Would you not?
No, I suppose it depends on if I've had any moments. What I'm just noticing, though, is I believe Sutty may have had a moment. He looks like he's got damage on the front of his BMW already. As we are green and go here for the second race of the season and the second round. Keep your eyes on Sutty's BMW. He's definitely got damage on the front of that. So whatever Sutty's hit on the formation lap, he's hit it hard. Max bounces off the curb at Richie's. You don't want to do that too hard. That will spin you around. But Dizzle goes right around the outside of him. That is Ventic, who is off coming through Richie's. Max going to go back up the inside into Wilson for the first time here now. Richie Michelle now looking on the back of Dizzle in the background. They get through all cleanly, and I believe everybody's through away. The 111 missed the start. That is 117, sorry, that is Robert Smith who missed the start.
Dean Mazzocchi's gone round. The Cranky Duckhead and John Andrews have made contact with one another as well, so they've dropped to the back of the pack, and that's all sorts of chaos towards the end of that lap. But yeah, it's a bit dramatic at the back as also S2M Borobex, who had a great race earlier on, has gone round and dropped to the back of the pack as well.
Dizzle there went very deep at Agostini, and that's allowed Richie Michelle to get up the inside. Now Graham's tapped him round. I tell you what, we've seen an aggressive Graham Sutcliffe, and Dizzle has been on the receiving end of a lot of punishment in this first race, but Graham now with more damage moves up the order. Then it is B. Craig, Tim Ventink, Fat Bloke, Michelle Richie. We're going to wait for the timing screens to just update. Kieran Argent, though, 13th to 8th on lap 1. That is a great start to his race.
Dizzle has got going again, and he's slowly working his way back into sequence again, but he had to wait for other cars to go through. Now Richie Mitchell looking very good at the start of races, but can he keep it going? No, that's the problem. Max Mulder, though, leads the way.
Oh, Jay has had to stop, and I believe Dizzle's then just hit the back of S2M Borobex because Dean had to park it on the apex, and that was close here to it just being congested. I think Dizzle caught the back of S2M Borobex, and he's let S2M go back through. Cranky Ducker, this, John Andrews, Dean Wasocki, and Robert Smith just hasn't got going in this second race, but it's Max Mulder who's already leading, and it's Graham Sutcliffe who's being left for dead, and is having a bit of a train forming behind him of that of B. Craig, Tim Ventick, and Fat Bloke, who's off at turn 1 though. That is Michelle Ritchie. Michelle Ritchie. Oh, he's got huge damage. Where's that come from? Front and rear.
Richie Mitchell, yeah, he's gone wide. As Graham's now up into second, but he's got the two. He's got the Ferrari of Tim going at it with Brian. He's gone round the outside of him in turn 3, and Fat Bloke in the Mercedes is on the back of the pair of them and hunting them down in the big, bright white and yellow Mercedes. and he's looking for any opportunity to get past the two in front, who are looking to still find a way past Graham, who's already put it in the wall somewhere, probably on the formation lap, as you said, Matt. But an interesting start to this race already, and a lot of the high-end drivers drop into the back of the pack.
A lot of the high-end drivers drop into the back of the pack, and BSP Racing are looking for a 1-2 on their first outing as a team. And already for Sooty Apex, Graham Sutcliffe running P2. He's a veteran at SimPlay Motorsport, over 200 race starts to his name. Might even have over 300 race starts to his name. No, just the 206. He's now trying to keep this train behind him, if you will. Mirko's trying to have a look up the inside of Fat Bloke on the exit. He's not. Kieran Argent's now running P7, and he's on this train at the back of Sooty. So Kieran Argent in that Mustang, when he can get it right and hook it up, that Mustang does look a very good car, and Kieran Argent looks like he's getting back into that groove that he was once in. He was obviously Season 1 constructor with Holty in the Bentley, so likes the bigger, chulkier car. And for Kieran Argent, already a great start to his second race.
Indeed it is, as Tim is now starting to put some pressure on Graham. And I believe we've seen Tim before in the Formula 1 days. Yeah, so this is a big change and a big difference for him, as he's used to a very high downforce car, but he's going to go around the outside of the BMW of Graham. Very unlikely to get it done there, but if he gets good traction out of the hairpin, he might be able to get the job done. And you have to wake up a lot earlier in the morning to outwit Sooty Apex through there.
John Goday looking on the back of his teammate with Richie Michelle, Sam, Darren Ball, Paul Williams and Diego Flores. In fact, DJ Phil, Dean, Borough Bex, Dizzle, Micro J's, Cranky Duckhead, John Andrews, all there. So that's a big train as well. Dean Wasocki left for dead at the minute. Robin Smith has not got going in this second race, but it is Max Mulder gapping that of Graham Sutcliffe out front. Tim Ventink has got the fastest lap of the race so far, but Sooty, that veteran if you will, just doing exactly what he needs to do. Mirko Ritchie's had a slide and a spin through Palmer's in towards Oggies, and Kieran Argent gets through, as does Tucker. So 2 places lost there for Ritchie.
Tim's really starting to get held up by Graham here, because Brian has had a few opportunities to look down the inside. So Tim really trying to find a way past on Graham, but he's actually lost time, as Fat Bloke now with the straight line advantage in the Mercedes, looking at the McLaren, as Argent now just sitting on the back of this group of train and just waiting for something to happen.
Mustang podium on its first outing, that'd be absolutely fantastic to see. Tim Ventink currently P3 out there at the moment, just behind Graham, but like I say, B. Craig has now dropped behind him a little bit, and he's got the pressure of Fat Bloke. And you were seeing what you'll see is the British GT around Snetterton very soon in the real world, and it is as close as this in the British GT. It's brilliant racing, except they have to contend with GT4s. These Pro-Am boys do not, thankfully, tonight, but they are trying their hardest. There's Fat Bloke, and there is Argent in the Mustang coming down the start straight. It's a nice car, that, to be fair. You get to see the nice horse, the Mustang on the side of the car, but Kieran Argent getting really close to the back of Fat Bloke. Fat Bloke's going to have a look now up the inside, and that is Ventink, who's had a moment on the exit of Riches. He has a big wiggle rejoining. He's very wide. That is Craig through. Fat Bloke could not follow suit, and Ventink has had a moment all on his own, and that has allowed Graham Sutcliffe to just pull away a little more, and he's lost a place now to B. Craig, and now he's going to lose out another place to Fat Bloke, is he? As Fat Bloke's got that nose up the inside, front axle to rear axle, yes, space given indeed, and Fat Bloke should get up the inside here with Agostini. A little bump of the doors. This could invite Kieran Argent up the inside, coming in towards Palmer's. He's going to have a look. He's alongside now, and Kieran probably a little earlier on the brakes, backs out of that down towards Oggies. He has another look once again. Full send, not quite.
Not going to quite do it in Oggies. That's a bit optimistic through there. He really should have just waited for the Ferrari to continue sliding on the exit of Oggies, send it into Williams, and then down the Bentley straight. But, you know, it's a long race here, Argent. Just take your time. There's no need to rush as they now head towards the back end of the circuit.
Justin Winter's got past Ritchie as well, so that's another place for Winter, as Argent's then going to have a look at the end. What happened, Dan?
Argent went down the inside into the very fast swooping left-hander into the heavy braking zone, and made contact with Tim. Tim ran wide onto the curb of death, and Fat Bloke was having his own moment out there as well. So those two have both dropped position, and Argent now moves up into P4.
So he's up into P4. John Gooday, did he get past Mirko Ritchie? He did indeed, I do believe. He's now right on the back of that of... is that Borough Bex? It is Burabek, so I think John Gooday, he's dropped
as well.
Well, he was fighting with them, Richie, down the Bentley straight. I saw them bumper to bumper before the Argent incident. So Winter, Richie, then it is Sam, then it is Michelle, then it is P. Williams, Diego Flores, DJ Phil, Burabek, then it is Gooday, Dizzle, Cranky Duckhead, Darren Bell, Dean from Micro J's, John Andrews, Dean Wasocki. John Andrews had a huge moment at Brundle and Nelson, and Dean Wasocki should be able to take that place. He already has. Robin Smith hasn't started this race. Remember, you've got to complete 3/4 distance, which means he's got to do 45 minutes of this race at least. As we go back to the... Let's go back to the Fat Bloke battle, actually. Fat Bloke on the back of Kieran Argent with Tim and Justin Winter not far behind.
Oh, Tucker's had his own moment, though. And he's allowed Fat Bloke through. So Tucker having a moment all on his own. And the Mercedes driver works his way through.
Oh, Fat Bloke's had a moment. He's well off. That is coming through Palmer's. And he's pretty much going to rejoin before the... No, he's now turning round to rejoin where he left. He's on a whole 360, and that's Dizzle who's now going past him. So he has gone from 6th all the way down to 17th place. He's had a big moment on his own there.
He has indeed, as the top 5 are all now starting to string out a little bit. I say that as Tim's really loose on the back end of that Ferrari, as he's right on the back end of Tucker, and really giving him a hard time at the minute. Tim's really pushing that Ferrari at this stage, with probably a little bit of damage as well, not helping him at this stage.
Yeah, it's probably not helping him. Down to P. Williams. He's looking on the back of Richie Michelle, who looks like he's got damage front and back. There's Peaceful Explosion saying his Fat Bloke heading to the fans. He's gone to sign a few autographs, Mike, I do believe. Here comes P. Williams then. P11 at the moment in this stage of the race. He's trying to hunt down Richie Michelle, who's got a bit of damage. Tim's got past Tucker then, so that move has been done. So a good move for Tim. Sam trying to get on the back of Mirko Richie as well. P. Williams still there. Diego Flores has now got Burabek on the back of him. Mike, you'd be after the Birker fan. I've seen you comment. Burabek is on the back of Diego Flores. He's got John Gooday there, who's got back ahead of Dizzle. Now Fat Bloke's going to have a look at Dizzle. Can't get anything done there. Dizzle's gone wide. Fat Bloke's going to tuck up the inside. Don't mind if I do. Hypertech wide as well, John Gooday. But Dizzle's coming back at Fat Bloke. This is a great scrap. Dizzle is in the thick of these fights. There was a car off. That is a yellow flag for the 93. That is Richie Michelle.
As you've been watching now, I've been watching this Tim Tucker fight as it's getting more and more heated, because Winter's now joined in on the scrap, and it's turning into what was a 2-car race into a 5-car race now, as Tim starts to put away a little bit as Tucker got held up by Tim, as Winter's got wide. He's had a big moment, but he's managed to keep it facing the right way. He
has indeed, and Richie had his own moment as well, so I believe then for Mirko Richie, he's going to get overtaken by Sam, who's going to look up the inside in towards Brundle. Easy as you like, and the Aston Martin gets through and can head now after the Team Merlot car of Tucker, as they're trying to get back on the back of Tim. So let's not forget, it's Max Mulder, fastest lap and race leader, from Graham, the wily old Fox, P2. Then it is B. Craig, currently in P3. Kieran Argent is P4 with Tim Ventink P5. Tucker P6 with Sam P7. Mirko Richie P8, Justin Winter P9, P. Williams 10th, Diego Flores P11, Esteban Burabek is P12, John Gooday from Dizzle from Fat Bloke, DJ Phil from Cranky Duckhead, with Darren Bell, Dean, Richie Michelle, Micro J's, Dean Wasocki, John Andrews and Robert Smith hasn't got started, and just looking there at Richie Michelle actually, down in 20th, not the race for him, not sure what's caused this massive damage for him. But he's got J's right on the back of him, and that bonnet is slightly lifted. That is going to be hurting that Ferrari. It is wounded at the moment.
It is indeed. Meanwhile, back towards the front, Graham's actually started to lose some time to Brian Craig. Brian's starting to bring that gap down. Max seems to be controlling the gap at the minute and seems to be disappearing into the distance. But enough so that if he has to make a mistake, he's able to recover from it. And we've already gone into 10 minutes of this race.
15-minute pit window opens halfway through the race. I do believe that'll open around the 35-minute mark, if I'm correct. Between there, in fact, no, was it? Yeah, around the 35-minute mark, I do believe. Don't hold me to that one. But we will wait and see. Graham, like you say, is losing pace to B. Craig. Tucker, though, back on the back of Tim a little bit, within half a second. Sam's within 6/10 as well. So Tucker's not letting Tim get away here.
This fight between 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th, has been going on for a while, and it's been ebbing and flowing between them. Sam 1 minute got right onto the back of Tucker. Tucker made a mistake. Then Tim makes mistakes like that, and he runs a little bit wide. That's given the McLaren an opportunity to get a little bit closer. Meanwhile, in the background, Winter is right on the back of Richie as well. So these guys are pushing, and they're pushing hard.
They are pushing hard. Kieran Argent, by the way, is now in within 8/10 of B. Craig. So Kieran Argent going great guns in the Mustang at the moment. As through Murray's comes Tucker. He's got Sam. And like you say, Tim just making the odd mistake here, and then Tucker will make another one as well. These three are just starting to pull away from that of Richie and Jay Winter in the background as they all come through towards Richie's for the 7th time this race. 46 minutes into this one, and it's already turning out to be an absolute cracker. Max Mulder doing well out front, and Argent looking to start to close that gap to Craig, but Tim went so deep and he's off, and Tucker and Sam aren't going to want a second invite. What about Mirko and then that of Justin Winter? They also get past him, so he's gone deep on his own at Wilson's and loses 4 places.
That bloke is right on the rear wing of Diego and really giving him a hard time, as we see Dizzle also clearing them. But Fat Bloke, after his mid-race burger trip, has been trying to chase down the Porsche ever since, and can't seem to find a way through it this minute. But Dizzle slowly working himself into the top 11. He's not too far away from Paul Williams to get himself into the top 10. But Max Mulder in control of this race, ahead of Graham, ahead of Brian Craig, ahead of Kieran Argent. Tucker has managed to obviously gain that position on Tim, but he's got Sam right behind him, and Sam with the decent pace in the Aston Martin, looking to give him a hard time as they head towards the far end of the circuit.
Looking to give him a hard time. He's going to have a look now into Brundle, but thinks better of it for the time being, and Tucker just goes a little deep, but he can get that covered up.
Paul Williams is slow. He's been mugged by Fat Bloke and Diego.
And he's going to get done by S2M Borough Bex, is that? Yeah, it is. And John Gooday's nearly got him. So what has happened to P. Williams here? Then looks like he's got damage on the rear of his Lamborghini. Is that new? Is that old? Either way, there's now a gaggle of cars in this midfield battle. And look, he still doesn't seem fully quick, Dan, because Hypertech is really hassling the back of that Lamborghini.
He is indeed. John Goudet is really hustling the Lamborghini, really pushing him at this stage. Meanwhile, Fat Bloke has allowed himself to get away from this squall, but he's right on the back of Richie as well. So he's really pushing at the minute, his Fat Bloke, and with that straight line advantage in the Mercedes-Benz will help him out towards turn 1, but not quite enough. It's not quite long enough, but he'll be able to attack into turn 2 as Fat Bloke right on the rear wing of the McLaren.
Spinner in the background, that was Dean, who's had a spin. Micro J's, who's got past Richie Michel
going for it
in this one, and Micro J's now moves himself up into 19th, and Fat Bloke gets the move done. Oh, contact! Fat Bloke and Richie.
That was very messy, boys, as Richie ran very wide. Fat Bloke sent it on the inside, and that door was always going to shut. It looked like a late apex move, and front wheel to rear wheel is very close, but we'll see what the stewards would think about that one.
Kieran Argent, sorry Dan,
losing out.
He's within 700ths of Tucker, of Craig. He's not. He's in front of Craig. The Mustang is on the podium, and it is going great guns.
Calm down, Matt. Don't curse it. Don't give it the
no, that's
commentator's
true.
Curse.
That's true. Indeed it is, as Argent through Brundle and Nelson. He's a veteran of SimPlay. He's not been here for a few seasons. Kieran. Skior. Sam's on the back of Tucker once again, as Borough Beck's now trying to gain on the back of Diego Flores. He's got John Gooday trying to follow him. Darren Bell is trying to get past DJ Phil. He had the inside line through Williams, and that move is done. He's now ahead of DJ Phil. So overtake done, and Micro J's has moved up to 18th place, and he's made 2 overtakes on cars that have span, and he must be just ticking them off one by one. Local circuit for Micro J's as well in this race, so he's going great guns. Top 10 in the first race, and he's looking for another
Diego's
one.
Had contact.
Diego with who? With S2M?
Yep, S2M Borough Beck's made contact with him going through the bunhole, but then now John Goudet's looking for an opportunity to get past the McLaren now.
He is indeed, and this is going to be an interesting one for John Goudet, who's going to try and get back to winning ways. He won at Spa, his first ever win last time out. He's got a handful of podiums. He's going to look to the inside of Richie's, pulls back in. They've got Paul Williams, so he's recovered from whatever his problems was earlier in the race. Trying to gain on the back as John Goudet, a huge slide through the corner there, but hangs onto it well. Fat Bloke's now dropped behind Micro J's. He's now looking someone up the inside of Micro J's at Richie's. Fat Bloke trying to come back. Micro J's doesn't fight that one too hard and lets him go.
More importantly, you've already cursed him. Argent's lost P3. He's dropped back behind Brian Craig again.
He has indeed. He's still within that second, and the apocalyptic weasel. Some epic battles going on. Indeed, there is. Out there on this circuit. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, the bell to be notified, and that big thumbs up button. It really does help us out. As well as if you want to join the Patreon, you can do so. I'll get the link in the description for that one, as well as you can donate to the channel now on YouTube. We managed to hit that through the off-season, so thank you all so much. Mike is in the chat. Mike, if you can, put a link to the Patreon in the chat, please. But Kieran Argent, like you said, has lost out. Max Mulder doing a great job out front, 8.2 seconds. He's not extending massively, but he's extending comfortably.
Yeah, he's not pushing too hard. He's not going too crazy at the minute. He's just maintaining the gap to Graham. Graham's got damage, so he's not really going to be hunting him down anytime soon. And really, the fast guys that really would have hampered Max Mulder is down in the pack of Dizzle, who's worked his way up into the top 10, but a returning win.
John Goudet's gone off. He's lost 2 places, I saw, to Paul Williams and Cranky Duckhead. He's now had his own moment coming through in towards Coram, and I believe he's lost out to Bell and DJ Phil, and has got back going again. So John Goudet, sorry Dan, has his own moments, and he's now gone from 10th to 14th.
He has indeed. And speaking of having their own moments, where is... We've lost the McLaren.
Of...
Craig.
Oh, we have lost B. Craig. Has he had an internet problem? He could get back in to finish the race, but that's going to put him a lap down. So we have lost B. Craig. Kieran Argent's back up to 3rd. You're right, I cannot see his name on that list. That must be an internet problem for B. Craig.
Must have been. Sam's really trying to hustle the back of Tucker at the minute. His teammate has been either disconnected or he's left the session. Not sure what has happened there, but he is out of this race now. And he's looking solid for a podium, and he's lost out. Sam, though, struggling behind the McLaren at the minute. As
M. Ritchie,
has a funny moment then.
M. Ritchie has gone into the pit lane. So before the pit window opens, I think he's just been dropped, and away he goes. And then there was just a flashing Ferrari in there. Has Richie Michelle returned to the pit lane? No, he's on track fighting with Fat Bloke. I believe he's pitted, though, because his front end damage is no longer there.
Possibly so. But Max Mulder continuing on through as we go into the 14-minute mark. 14 minutes left to go. And Graham minding his own business. Long race to go. But Argent not a million miles away. And he's slowly creeping onto the back of the BMW. This is going to be interesting.
Hey, how many seasons do we commentate on these two having a scrap? And they've had a few ding-dongs in the past. Yeah?
The pies have always been interesting afterwards.
Not as interesting as your dad and Kieran's, but yes, I know what you're saying. This is going to be an interesting one, like you say. Oh, hey. It's all love and war. Graham from Kieran Argent from Sam, who's got past Tucker. Tucker's had a problem somewhere, Dan, because he's behind Jay Winter.
He is, indeed. And a lot of, like I said, earlier on in this race, just before we got going, it's all about consistency. You may not be the fastest. You can see Argent didn't really do any blistering lap times, but he's up there in the top 3, you know, and he's just keeping himself to himself. Same with Sam up there. Winter is up there with decent pace, and the guys who are struggling are normally the ones that are quickest, as we're seeing here, as Dizzle and Tim are going side by side as they go into the left-hander. Dizzle should get that job done, but Tim's going to hold it strong on the outside and keeps the position and should hold on to the inside, but it's a very tricky right-hander. The rear of the car really wants to let go through here. Tim has run wide a little bit as they head into Williams down towards the Bentley straight, and he survives another lap.
And B. Craig has got back in, so it must have been a disconnection problem for him. John Goudet is on the back of Diego Flores, and just looking at other fights as well. Fat Bloke not far behind them with Richie Michelle, and then P. Williams as well.
Tim's
so
gone off.
I'm not sure what's happened to Richie Michelle. Oh, it's chaos. Oh. Is that Tucker? That is, it's Tucker, so he must have had his own moment.
Tucker dropped it on his own on the exit. He got on the curb and the rear just went. Dizzle had nowhere to go, and Tim had to go straight on because he missed his brakes. But because Tucker was too busy having his own moment, Tim managed to keep the position.
Indeed he did, and Tucker's come out just ahead of P. Williams. Micro J's, by the way, I'm just looking, he's now got past Darren Bell. He's up to 13th place, qualified 20th, has just picked them off slowly. He will be delighted with 2 top 10 finishes, let me tell you, as the pit window, I think, opens anytime soon. There we go.
Now,
I remember it being 37.5 minutes. I remember someone getting it a bit wrong at Spa last season and forgetting what it was. Jay's had a moment to the curb on the exit of Murray's, loses out to Darren Bell and manages to keep it going and points in the right direction and straight into the pits, as is DJ Phil, as comes Fat Bloke then. What about Richie? He keeps going. Dean will also keep going. John Andrews has got a bit of damage. He could do with pitting, and Dean Wisoki's lost out to John Andrews. Dean Wisoki, well,
Craig has got in and got going again.
Yeah, great to see. Great to see. So we can come around and complete his pit stop and get that one done. Dizzle's got past Tim. So that is a move done. And Kieran Argent's within 8/10 of Graham Sutcliffe. Here we go. If you're an old school SimPlay Motorsport fan, buckle up, because this could get interesting.
This could get interesting, and Sutty will not want to, Graham will not want to give any inch, and Argent will just want to survive. So he doesn't want to bottle it here and now. Sam is 8.3 behind, so they've got some time between them to have a little bit of a scrap, but they'll probably be working together as DJ Phil has sped in the pit lane and has now got a stop and go as well.
Now, if you're Graham,
that's, his race.
You're probably coming in to repair that damage. So...
It depends how much it's really affecting him.
Well, he's in, and he's released Argent. Yeah, he's released Argent. He probably thinks, I do not want any of this on your return, Kieran. I do not want this. So, yeah, that is an interesting one. Here comes Sam then, and Justin Winter will come through, as will Dizzle. So I reckon Tim got back ahead of him at some point, because Dizzle's all of a sudden back in front once again. Borough Bex is now going to come through for another place. Who's the drivers that have pitted? DJ Phil, Micro J's, Fat Bloke and John Andrews. And DJ Phil actually jumped Micro J's by a good margin in the pit. No, DJ Phil was already in, sorry, before Micro J's. Apologies.
Yeah, it's all getting to the stage now with drivers pitting and deciding what they want to do. So at the minute, the scraps are going to be very thin now, because a lot of people will be doing different strategies, and Fat Bloke's ended up behind Argent. Now, if he sticks to the back of him, he's able to just go with the traffic, and any cars that he has to lap, Fat Bloke can go with him. But at the minute, 15.2 seconds is the gap between Max Mulder and Argent, and as long as Max Mulder doesn't bins it, touch a curb, or gets the pit stop wrong, this is his to lose.
Yeah, and this one's going to be interesting now that Kieran's come through the pack and he's now in clear air with a fixed car, unlike Graham's. Can Kieran match that pace? Or maybe can he close that gap a little bit? Graham has done his pit stop, so he'll be out before the lapped cars. No, he won't. He's sped in the pit lane, and Graham's podium vanishes like that.
It has gone like that, and what a mistake there from Graham. Not what he would have wanted at all, so he'll have to come into the pits as well. DJ Phil comes into the pits straight away to service stop and go.
Yep, he'll have to come straight in to get that one done. DJ Phil has as well, and he is in now to do that. Hopefully he has got it done. That has released Fat Bloke John Andrews, and possibly will allow B. Craig to maybe close up a little bit. But like you say, it's now going to be about Max Mulder and Kieran Argent, what they will do. They both stay out on the circuit so far, and Kieran loses 3 seconds, so that will not change. Sam into the pits. Jay Winter stays out. Dizzle's going to box as well, so he comes in. Tim will stay out. This is going to be an afternoon of interesting racing, as a big penalty for Graham, such poor sportsmanship. Well, the drivers have to submit the tickets, buddy, so it will be down to Dizzle to submit that ticket. But let's obviously keep the chat nice and clean and respectful. Obviously, the stewards will do their job and will look at that and penalise accordingly. But yeah, it's an interesting one to see. Stop go cleared for DJ Phil. Sam came in, Dizzle came in. Everybody else currently staying out. I'm finding this interesting. Not wanting to pit. I'm wondering if we're going to see them in towards the next lap, halfway through that race. That could be where we see the tyre changes.
That's where we can see tyre changes, and also possibly fuel as well. A lot of drivers probably opt in to go half and half to try and keep the car light and fast. Or some other drivers may have just decided to fill up completely and just add that 1 litre, just not to make things confusing, make it simple and easy. As Sam and Dizzle were the ones that came in, and both of them have gone green. Sam has gone back out on track, and he is well ahead of Fat Bloke. So they are your leading class of pit stoppers now, as Graham comes straight into the pits. And that's interesting as well. Graham had stopped, repaired his car, and Sam was well out, as was Dizzle, so that would be interesting to see.
That will be interesting to see. They had great pace. Obviously, Graham with that stop-go penalty to his name. Mirko Ritchie doesn't pit me. Craig has come in. So where's Fat Bloke? He's going to get through. Micro J's is going to pick up a place back to 17th. Tucker is down in 19th. He's going to gain one. John Andrews, I don't think will. So I think Sutty should come out of John Andrews, Richie Michelle, DJ Phil, and obviously Craig. He's not yet. He's now moving. So as he just starts to drive off, that is interesting. Argent's brought the gap down from 19 seconds to 18.3, so that's going to be one to keep our eyes on if this ebbs and flows just a little bit. Obviously, Argent learning the Mustang, we're all learning the Mustang, so it's going to be a fascinating one to watch as Tucker just gets past Micro J's behind Argent. That is for 17th and 18th place as the battles just start to be a little strung out while we await the pit stops to be done. It is this man, Max Mulder, leading the way from the brand new Ford Mustang in second place of Kieran Argent, returning to the championship. Justin Winter is, in third place. Tim Ventic is fourth. S2M Burrabex P5 with Paul Williams in sixth. Cranky Duckhead P7. Darren Bell P8. John Goudet P9. Diego Flores P10. Dean P11. And Dean into the pits. He is the one of the last cars left to pit. So Sam, your net second place man, because I don't think he's going to be ahead of Max Mulder, but could be closer.
It could be indeed. We'll see how it all pans out in the end. Argent will probably have to start thinking about coming into the pits very soon, and just to cover off any threat from behind. But like I said earlier on, Max Mulder's race to lose at the minute. He's just got to keep it clean, keep it on track, and keep it facing the right way as he goes down the main straight now and continues on through. He's going to probably extend at this race for as long as he possibly can. And yeah, the traffic's not affecting him either. He's got 18 seconds to Argent.
Oh no!
There's nothing to worry about.
John Goudet wide at Oggy's, nearly into the barrier, and that's a big runoff down there. He's got his braking horribly wrong behind Darren Bell, and that is put bed to that one. DJ Phil's got past him, but that is to unlap himself, and Phil's now just had a huge twitch through Williams. He's in the wall. Kieran Argent in. Did DJ Phil clip the wall there? He's stationary.
Oh, he's missed his box
while waiting. Oh, that's a shame for Kieran Argent.
He's had to reverse it back into the position. So where is Sam? Sam's actually in the middle part of the middle sector. So Argent should be safe from Sam, really. So it's really it's a fight for the third place podium position, I think, now.
I think you could potentially, right, halfway through the race, is anybody going to change tyres? That is the biggest question.
We don't know. That's the question as well. How we would know, we don't, because we'd just go by pure pace possibly, or you know, the lack of pace, I'm guessing, but there's no clear way to tell.
No, Kieran Argent
hasn't put enough fuel.
He hasn't done the mandatory pit stop and will have to pit again. And the Ford Mustang, the second time Kieran has done that today, he's came out so clear of Sam as well, and that is game over for Kieran's podium and for Kieran's for the Ford Mustang's podium. So you say it's a battle for third, it's now possibly a battle for second. He is well clear of the pack, but has not done the required pit stop, Dan.
No, and he would have learned from the first race as well. He done the same thing, and yeah, some of these guys just don't have their fuel saved. They don't have that. It's just 1 litre if need be. That's all you have to do. But clearly, some of these guys are making that mistake. Max Mulder's into the pits now.
Max Mulder into the pits. Kieran's hit the wall. That's it. Agostini. That's the exit of Agostini. He's banging to the wall. So he's now got damage to his car as well. And Sam's still not going to get past him. That's just going to be a bit longer of a pit stop. Dean Wusoki's into the pits, and Richie still hasn't pitted down the order. Oh, your heart bleeds for the Ford Mustang. Tim stays out. Burra Beck stays out as well. Burra Beck comes in. P. Williams comes in. Cranky Duckhead, what's he going to do? Maxo is away. And if we look at... Sam is coming through Williams. Kieran Argent is halfway down. Well, Max would have just been well in front anyway. So Max done. Burra Beck's in. Cranky Duckhead in. Darren Bell, what's he going to do here in this pit stop? He's not going to pit. He's going to stay out. 5.5 minutes left in the window. John Goudet stays out as well. Diego Flores got a clean Porsche underneath him. So this is going to be interesting, but that for Kieran is catastrophic.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
Oh, he's off again. Danny's off again through Coram. Just flicked from Diego Flores, who comes into the pits, and Kieran Argent's off again. He's just been passed by Dizzle. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone from him.
I blame you.
I blame Mike.
I blame you.
Ford wants to be a Honda. So Kieran Argent's race, he's done. Mirko Ricci, the last car on the circuit to pit. Obviously, B. Craig has done his stop and got back in the lobby, so B. Craig will obviously score points. Yes, 23rd, he would have been hoping for more, but it's points at the end of the day. Mirko Ricci stays out on track. So Justin Winter leads this race from Tim Ventic. Max Mulder, he's not a million miles behind, you know.
I mean, to be fair, didn't fuel the car. There you go. There's what's happened to Argent. He didn't fuel the car, and that's the one rule.
The stupid thing is, 1 litre is all you need to put in. So even if you ran a heavy car for the race, 1 litre is all you need. You just need to make sure that says 1, and you get the pit stop.
Even when you make your setups, the first natural reaction to do is to just save the setup with 1 litre pit stop.
Yeah,
that's what we had to do.
Exactly.
But either way, Max Mulder is now going to lap Kieran Argent as Graham has got the fastest lap of the race so far.
Go on, Sutty. He's possibly changed his tyres. Nova's comment: move over F1. SimPlay Pro-Am is the new place to watch entertaining racing. I mean, that was abundantly clear last season. Apologies if anybody is a die-hard Formula 1 fan. It said it all the other week. Touring cars at Snetterton, British GT at Donington Park, Monaco F1. Bar the first lap crash. I don't think I watched any of Monaco after that, so that says it all really for me. But we're not here to talk about Formula 1, we're here to talk about the racing. Max Mulder moves into second. Tim, Darren and John Gooday all in the pits. Tim is now leaving the pits and is well clear of Sam, who has now come out that net third place. There's Tim, you see Sam in the background. Then you've got Dizzle, who is trying to lap... No, he's trying to pass S2M Burrebek, sorry, apologies. So interesting, Paul Williams goes through. What about Mirko Ricci? Could get away with 1 more lap, same as Justin Winter. Probably will want to pit now. He's going to go 1 more lap. Graham's in the pits again. What has happened to their night? Graham and Argent's night has gone from bad to worst.
Yep. It's gone completely wrong. As Ricci has got 1 more lap to pit as Winter's in now, so that's the pit stop done for him, and he'll get that out.
Dizzle's past Burrebek's down.
Gone.
Dizzle's left. No, he's in the. Oh no, yeah, he has. He's left the lobby.
He's left the session.
He's left the session, and didn't get to 3/4 distance.
I feel a Mike Mathews moment in the FBR season,
and in the F1 fun event.
And the F1 fun event, of course. I mean, you can't say nothing. You just ploughed it into the wall.
I got wiped out by Jamie. Disgusting. What that does, though, Dan, is if Sutty comes back in, B. Craig, gains... If Sutty, and B. Craig can gain a few laps, that'll be B. Craig gaining another place in this race to put him 22nd at the moment. Graham.
It will.
If there's one man who sets an example, it's DJ Phil. Never give up, never surrender, never quit. No matter how bad your race is. John Andrews is off, sorry.
This should be interesting. Winter has gone green. He's gone and off the limiter he goes. Here comes Tim. This is going to be tricky into turn 1. And Winter crosses the white line ever so slightly. But Tim goes into turn 1 in second place. And it is going to be a scrap for second place between Winter, Tim, Sam, Dizzle, and possibly S2M Burrebek. Whoa, in the background. That was DJ Phil making contact with somebody. Who was that? Did he hit? I think it was a Ferrari.
John Andrews is also off.
In turn 1.
P. Williams, yeah, John Andrews has rejoined as I've gone on, and P. Williams is also there, but DJ Phil, I didn't see anybody else there, so I'm not quite sure. That'll be an interesting one to go back to. Mirko Ricci got into the pits before it closed, so Ricci in. And you know what that means? Graham on a quali ban. for when he returns. Whew.
Oh, he's going to love that. I need to find that replay to find out who actually made contact. Hopefully it won't break my game. Probably will.
Looking down the order then, Richie Michelle trying to catch Dean Wysocki. That's a fight that's happening. Everything's coming to normal after the pit stops. But as the pit window closes, Max Mulder leads this race from his teammate Tim Ventic. Justin Winter is third. Then it is Sam Dizzle, Borough Bex. In fact, what's happened to Borough Bex? He's dropped a bit behind Dizzle. Fat Bloke is running P8 from Cranky Duckhead. Darren Bell is P10. John Gooday is P11. Then it is Tucker, Diego Flores, Dean. Micro J's back up to 15th place, so having another solid second race. Mirko Ritchie's P16 from Kieran Argent. In fact, they've just swapped places. Kieran's got ahead of Ritchie, so Kieran 16th, Ritchie 17th. Dean Wysocki's running P18 with Richie Michelle P19. John Andrews 20th, DJ Phil 21st, and Badly Damaged and Bree Craig after a disconnection running P22.
So DJ Phil had his own moment seconds before John Andrews turns up to the scene. He hits the curb on the inside, the rear end spins round, and he's off on the grass, no damage done, no nothing, avoiding the leaders. And then John Andrews does the same thing at much higher speed and just hits the back of DJ Phil while off circuit, minding his own business. So yeah, that was a big incident between them.
Big incident there is, who's had it? Graham's back. Graham is back and is got a 2-minute wait period, so I reckon he'll be behind B. Craig, but possibly on the same lap as B. Craig. So potential internet disconnection there for Graham Sutcliffe. But so far, so good. Jay Winter in third place at this moment in time, trying to hunt down after Tim. He's got Sam and Dizzle, though, going to try and catch him. This is the closest fight, Sam to Justin Winter on the track at the moment. Great to see, though, one of the Aston Martins up there. And look at that, Dan. Top 5 cars are all different manufacturers. That is brilliant. That is what we want to see.
Yeah, we're just hoping that Paul Williams now does something about Borough Beck so we can make it 6.
And Fat Bloke and Cranky Duckhead, so we can make it 9.
Yeah. I saw it. Let's see if the
where's Kieran?
If the Ford Mustang can work his way back up the order.
That would be absolutely brilliant to get 10 different manufacturers, 9 different manufacturers inside that top 9, 10 places. That would be mega to watch. Whereas Graham is now obviously, I think, is he behind now, B. Craig? I'm not quite sure. We'll see come sector 1. But Richie is now on the back of Kieran Argent. This is after Kieran passed him after Mirko's pit stop. This is the closest fight on circuit. Dean with Flores as well. So keep an eye on that gap. But this one's the closest fight at the moment. Here is Mirko Ritchie trying to gain on Kieran Argent in that Ford Mustang. Kieran trying to come back. In fact, actually, no, it's not. Because I've just seen that Justin Winter and Sam, yeah.
Sam's been bringing that gap down ever so slightly. I seem to be having an issue with the Xbox boys. Every time I seem to go on them, they're very laggy for me. But yeah, but Sam has brought that gap down, and Winter seems to have extended it in the middle sector where, sorry, the first sector where the Porsche should be good in traction zones and be able to pull away from the Aston. But because the Aston's got a Mercedes engine in the front of that car, it should be able to drag him back in. But Dean, again, is back on Diego.
Yeah, indeed he is. Just watching this now of Dean and Diego currently going great guns. Is that Ferrari as Sutty is still ahead of B. Craig. I believe B. Craig is now on the same lap as Sutty. And Graham comes out the pits a lap down, and Dean going to look up the inside. No, Playerman, or Diego as he's now known, manages to stay in front. But is this Dean's chance to have a look up the inside, going into Wilton, get side by side, equal on the brakes. Diego deep, Dean up the inside. Great move, and that is P13 for Dean in this race. And
Sam dropped behind. Sam was behind Winter. He's now dropped behind Dizzle. Esther
and Borobex, yeah. Richie Michelle on the back of Dean Wysocki. He's got huge front end damage again as Richie Michelle. John Gooday's with Tucker. That's a 10th.
Well, I forgot to mention as well, Matt, at this stage at the minute, with Max Mulder and Tim leading, it's a BSP Racing 1-2.
1-2, yeah, it is. John Gooday got ahead of Tucker, so that's John Gooday now up to 11th place on his title defence for his constructors. Dean trying to now pull away from Richie Michelle, who is twitchy as ever through that first corner. And then we've got Diego Flores trying to stick with Dean. That is a slow down. John Andrews, Diego Flores. Sideways moment for him, and that's going to lose him a lot of time. Where is Micro J's? He was 8 seconds behind, not really close enough. Max Mulder's just put a lap on him. So interesting to see. But yeah, BSP Racing 1-2. Exis Tibbs will be in the BSP car tomorrow as well. And
Dizzle was taken.
Oh, we've lost.
Back.
We've lost Dean Wasocki. Now, yeah, I'm wondering if there's a few connection problems here, because that's 3 drivers we've lost in this race.
Possibly so. Maybe the new update, I'm not sure. But I've had a few laggy moments with some of the Xbox boys, but nothing horrendous.
No, but we've lost 3 of the PlayStation guys, haven't we? Craig, Sutty, and now... Yeah, Dean's just messaged me a photo on Facebook. Yeah, he's been disconnected. So he's taken a photo of the disconnection on screen. So he has been disconnected. That's 3 PlayStation disconnections here for the PlayStation drivers. That is Richie Michelle moving out of the way. Now, Dean should get back in. He's probably now going to be down behind John Andrews, maybe. Just ahead of B. Craig. Yeah, I think has he just come back? Yeah, he's just come back in, hasn't he? He's just rejoined.
But John Andrews is in the pits.
So Dean was ahead of John Andrews when John Andrews pitted. So I reckon John Andrews got to drive to where it's disconnected Dean, and that'll put him ahead. Do you know what I mean? So that'll sort of balance it out there. Graham has lost out to B. Craig. B. Craig is at Richie's. Sutty
Justin
is
Winter's attacking Tim.
At Augie's. It's Justin Winter now attacking Tim. This the game on for P2, and Dizzle could easily get back on the podium here.
He could indeed, but Justin Winter going against Tim at the minute, and Tim trying to hold on. He wants to make it a 1-2 here, and I'm pretty sure Tibbs will want to continue that form going into the pro category tomorrow night. Make sure you tune in for that, as Tim is trying to do everything he possibly can to stay in front of the Porsche driver as they battle it out towards the end of this race, with only really a quarter left of this race to go. Anything can still happen. Fatigue kicking. We've just done a sprint race. They've been flat out through that. Now they're into the back end of this long endurance race.
Who changed tyres? This is something we don't know. So is this good? This is now...
Oh, Tim's gone wide.
This is now down where it's going to play into that hand. That 45 minutes would be coming to an end in 30 seconds. We're going into that extra 15 minutes where the tyres are going to play, you know, dividend. And has Justin Winter done the strategy of tyres? Did Tim? We'll wait and see who's used the tyres more. But Tim went wide. Justin Winter's now on the back of him coming down the Bentley straight.
He is indeed. The Porsche's not very good in a straight line, but he's got a great opportunity to try and find... Oh, Justin Winter with a big slide. He manages to hold it together, but while these two are too busy fighting, Dizzle is catching onto the back of him.
He is catching on to the back of him, and this is looking good for Dizzle at the moment as they come through Coram now for the 24th time in this race. 14 minutes, 52 seconds on the clock. It is Max Mulder from Tim Ventic from Justin Winter. And this could be a great, interesting race here in this one till the very end. Borough Beck's only 5 or 6 seconds back from this as well, so he could be on the podium if there was to be contact in this little squabble. But so far, so good for Tim and Justin Winter. Through they come. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel, hit that thumbs up button as John Andrews now goes ahead of Dean Wasocki. Dean will be in a 2-minute waiting period to get back out on track. In fact, he's just come back out on track now, so he'll be chasing after John Andrews. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified, and hit the thumbs up as well. What an entertaining race this is, and Justin Winter going to really try and stick it to that of Tim Ventic in front.
Yeah, and Dizzle's been flashing a light saying, I'm coming for you boys. Watch out now, don't make any mistakes. And Tim and Justin really just trying to hang in there. Now, with the last couple of laps here, it's do or die now for these guys. And Max Mulder pretty much got this, he pretty much got the envelope licked and sealed and on his way to the post. But right now, Winter, he wants to finish this race on a high, and Dizzle really trying to continue his great form, being on the podium for two.
Yeah, indeed. He's going to want to end off a great day. But to be fair, you look at the racing that's gone on. Max Mulder, pole position race win. Dizzle, fastest lap pole position race win. These two could go tooth and nail this season. Dizzle's took the fastest lap back off of Graham. So Graham's got to do that one again. And yeah, this is the closest fight on the circuit at the moment. And Dizzle's now getting within that second window of Justin Winter, which puts him 1.8 off the back of Tim as well. So going to be interesting. 12, just under 13 minutes to go Burrabex and Sam not really got the pace to stick with these three now. They're just dropping off the back a little bit each lap. And all of a sudden, Justin Winter's 1.3 behind Tim, and Dizzle's 8/10 behind Justin Winter. As Justin Winter's wide on the exit of Richie's, and is this the moment he needs? No, Dizzle too far back.
The Porsche possibly losing the fuel now, getting lighter, getting looser, and now the BMW is in its prime and looking to try and capitalise on those silly mistakes that Winter's having now.
He is indeed, and Winter just possibly overdriving the car a little bit. As they come in towards Agostini for that 25th time. Closest fight on track with Tim 2.1 up the road from Dizzle. So this will be helping Tim just have that bit of breathing space for that second place in this one. And as it stands at the moment, Dizzle's made contact with Winter. And round goes Winter. And that's Kieran Argentoff as well. The back marker off further down the road. Burrabex has got through. What about Sam? Sam did not. So Winter loses 2 places. Richie gets ahead of Kieran Argent. Richie Michelle did not. So Kieran Argent's had another moment on his own trying in this race. But that puts Dizzle now down to try and hunt down the back of Tim. But he's got a lap car in front of him.
He has indeed, but that Ferrari seemed to be struggling, and the lap car gets jumping straight out of the way. That is Brian Craig. He's obviously just trying to get to the end of this race, but Dizzle has got himself back onto the podium after contact at the start of the race. He's now working his way back up, and imagine what he would have done without the contact.
Yeah.
You know, he would have been given it a really good go against Max Mulder.
Yeah, he really would have been as well. Tim Ventic 31 seconds behind his teammate in this one at the moment, so not where he wanted to be, but so far so good. Max Mulder from Tim Ventic, BSP Racing 1-2. Dizzle currently 3rd place with the fastest lap, and this is going to be interesting stuff to see here. Dizzle, like we said, 3rd place at the moment. What can he do? Burrabex 4th, Justin Winter now 5th with Sam 6th. B. Craig slowing down to let the leaders through. P. Williams is 7th, Fat Bloke 8th, Cranky Duckhead 9th, Darren Bell P10, John Goodays 11th, Mark Tucker 12th, Dean at 13th, Diego Flores 14th, Micro Jace 15th. Micro Jace trying to gain on the back of Diego. Richie's down in 16th with Kieran Argent 17th, Richie Michelle P18, DJ Phil P19, John Andrews 20th. He got ahead of Dean in the pit stop and is over a sector in front of Dean, who's down in 21st. Then it's B. Craig and Graham in this race. 10 minutes to go though, Dan, and Dizzle is 3.5 seconds behind Tim, so he's not gaining any time.
No, he's not gaining any time, so looks like it's just hang in there now to the end. Most of these guys are going to be spread out at the minute and trying their best just to, like I said, just finish this race, get it to the end and score some decent points to finish the season, to finish at the first round of the season.
Indeed, it will be here then for these boys in this race. It's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on as the night goes on and as the championship goes on. Obviously, next week the Pro-Ams will be taking to that of the Red Bull Ring in Austria, in the Styrian Mountains. It's going to be an absolute fantastic one there to see what will happen around that circuit. As I'm really looking forward to seeing that race unfold. And yeah, I'm going to put a poll out now for driver of the day. Oh, is that what you're typing away?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Now.
I've gone Max Mulder, Dizzo, Burrabex and Sam. I think they've had the best 2 opening races of the season.
I was going to go Tim, I would have said, but either way, yeah.
Wait, what did Tim get race 1? 15th. 15th.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Whereas Sam, Burrabex podium and 4th, Sam 5th and 6th at the minute. Good consistency. Just seen a change somewhere there. Darren Bell's got past Cranky Duckhead. That's just changed on my screen. So let's take a look at that. There is Cranky Duckhead in the Honda NSX. That's a car backwards. Who's that? I believe that's DJ Phil. It is. Where's John Andrews? He's at the last part of the circuit at Bombhole and Coram. So if DJ Phil keeps having moments like that, he's still on the grass. If DJ Phil keeps having moments like that, then John Andrews may find himself on the back of him quicker than anything. Oh, DJ Phil's got big front end damage. John Andrews and Dean Wysocki could find themselves in a position here where DJ Phil might pit. B. Craig back in the pits. Max is cooking, says Senna in the chat. Hard call for driver of the day. Max and Diesel have both had a great night. It is a massively tough goal. You guys make it. Me and Dan will obviously give our opinions later on. John Andrews is now within the same sector as DJ Phil, Dan, because you can see the gap is not 109 seconds. That will come down as John Andrews cross it. DJ Phil is struggling to turn this car. And I think DJ Phil's gave up on the wheel. He's driving the pads here, that looks like to me. So I think Phil has gave up on the wheel. He's tested the wheel all off-season. He's put that to bed. And he has got some big damage on his Lamborghini Evo 2. And John Andrews will be right on him.
He's just unlapped himself from Micro J's. Obviously, J's doesn't want to get involved in that action. But, yeah, John Andrews going back through the pack, and he's that desperate to catch up to DJ Phil, who's off at the end of the middle sector, and there goes his teammate in the background as well. Diego's had a moment. That's going to allow Micro J's.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to get right onto the back of him, will Micro J's. Possible 14th place position for him as John Andrews just in front will go past DJ Phil, and Jay nearly has his own moment.
He does. I think Jace is struggling on his tyres a little bit there, so he's now got to catch back up to Diego. John Andrews has got past DJ Phil then. Where's Dean Wysocki? He's just gone through Rich's, and DJ Phil is not going to make... If he drives around with that car, even Graham might unlap himself to catch him. There goes Tim to put a lap on him, but it's now Micro J's on the back of Diego, so let's watch this fight. J's actually got a bit of front-end damage from somewhere, noting on that M4 there. You see the few scuff marks on the front of that BMW M4 grille. And so far, so good if you're in this Pro-Am race. What a night it has been at the moment in the Pro-Am. Great opener to the season. And like we say, Red Bull Ring next week, that's going to be even better. Before, is it one of our many trips to the United States after that one? It is not, because we come back to England and do Brands Hatch. Because we are very economical here at SimPlay Motorsport, and we use the calendar wisely. We did not use a wheel of names.
We knew we'd use the wheel of names.
Love the wheel of names. Brilliant, brilliant app. DJ Phil's in, so that could be a huge pit stop, and that will give Dean the position, because Phil has stopped. Dean's already coming into Brundle and Nelson. Sutty, I believe, is now on the same lap as them two as well, so he could also be through. But let's go back to Diego Flores and Micro Jace for a moment. And let's
the cranky duckhead starting to become under a little bit of pressure from John. John's starting to bring that gap back down as well.
He is indeed, and John, I don't know what to make of his opening round of his constructors' title defence, because I don't think it's been that great.
No, obviously the level drivers just stood up and improved, and you know, he's gone to the Aston Martin. I'm not sure if he's quite got it hooked up or not, but yeah, the Aston was an interesting choice. It's a lot smaller, a lot more compact.
Oh, yellow flag. Sorry, Dan, this is Dean, who is off. He's got damage, so Diego Flores and Micro J is going to gain a place as Dean's made a mistake at Brundle and Nelson.
He has indeed. Dean making that mistake there, and Tim's now coming up to the back of these guys. He can not really do any back markers right now, as Dizzle is still close, and he's just lost all pace now. Suddenly he's just not been able to do anything with it.
Yeah, he's like you say, he's just lost all pace. And is that possibly from contact with that of Jay Winter, Justin Winter, a few laps ago? Dean Wysocki's got past DJ Phil, so keep your eyes down here now, because we're going to see where Graham Sutcliffe is. He's coming, I think he's now on the same lap as DJ. And he'll be past DJ Phil this lap then, unless DJ starts rolling out of the pits. But Micro J's at the minute, he's got Tim just behind him ready to put a lap on him, and he slows down and allows Tim to go. And then he's going to try and get back onto the rear of Diego Flores. Tim, oh, wide, and nearly rejoins into the side of Jay. Very slidey through Palmer's. And that was a scary moment for Micro J's and for Tim.
Was indeed, but they both managed to survive. He'll be cursing if somebody hits him now, especially towards the end of the race. But yeah, Tim is slowly, he lost a little bit of time there. The gap was 5 seconds. Dizzle's now brought it back to 3.3, but now Dizzle's got to try and clear this traffic.
He has indeed, and Tim's still got to get past that of Diego Flores then. But Max Mulder with 2.5 to go, comfortably out front, comes through Murray's probably 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go after this, because he's going to get round once again, unless he decides to just have a slow lap and bring it back in. Dino gaining on the back of Micro J's, but he's got to let Dizzle go. Dizzle's right on the back of him. This is not the place to be letting a lead car through, and Dean's still getting in the way of Dizzle at the moment. And Dean being a bit of a nuisance. You do not want to have a mistake through the bomb hole and core him.
Yeah, he's not getting out of the way. He's not moving. He could have ran wide and allowed Dizzle through the inside. Sam's in the pits.
Oh, what has happened to Sam then? And Dizzle's just tapped the side of Dean. Coming through Murray. So Sam's in the pits. That's going to give Micro J's yet another place. And Diego Flores. So Jay close to the back of 2 top 10s here. But what has happened to Sam? Argent's grass tracking again. And they said Honda's was lawnmower, so I'm going to have a word with Mike tomorrow night. Richie Michelle's now gaining on the back of him. John Andrews not close enough to that scrap. Graham has got past DJ Phil, so DJ Phil pretty much out this race. He's out the pits now. But what has happened to Sam? He's lost all time there.
Fuel, possibly.
Yeah. And because it's gonna hold you for 25 seconds now, regardless, isn't it?
It is indeed. But yeah, that's not what he would have wanted towards the end of this race at all.
So that's the point now. If you're low on fuel by a lap, you want to go in for 1 lap's worth of fuel, you've still got to wait 25 seconds. Oh dear. This is going to be painful for drivers this season. Jay back on the rear then of Diego Flores once more. Just looking where Max Mulder is. He's coming around Coram now. And that is to start the final lap of this race. Now Jay pushing it just a little slidey through the exit of Williams. And he now pulls off the racing line and lets that of Dizzle through before Brundle and Nelson. That is sensible. Leaders on the final laps from race control. And now that Dizzle is slow. Oh, Dean's off again in the background. So that's going to help Richie and Argent gain on him. But Dizzle slow. Now Diego pulls over on the outside of Coram. Can Jay try and follow him around the outside? He's going to try it, you know. Oh, and he's dropped a wheel on the grass.
Ah, brave move, but it's not worked out, and he's spinning. Dean's at his own moment, so he's gonna lose out to Richie.
And is he going to lose out to Dean? I don't think he's going to, but Micro J's there, he'll be kicking himself because he went around the outside and it didn't work. I think he is going to lose out to Dean. Yeah, he does, so he loses 2 places, but Max Mulder's on the final lap and he's just checked out. He is gone.
He's taking the fastest lap back as well.
Yeah.
So Max has got it in the bag. He's just got to get to the end now. And yeah, it's going to be a 1-2 for BSP Racing.
And the nice thing with that is him and Dizzle, fastest lap will be exchanged by both of them in these races, because Dizzle took the exact same in race 1 with the pole position, the fastest lap, and then the race win. Sam's still in the pits.
The only issue is that Max finished second. Did Max finish second? No, he didn't.
No, Max finished P3. Dizzle's P3, so they're going to be tied.
They're going to be level on points. Fantastic. Yeah, Sam's still in the pits and not moving, but he has done majority.
He's done the 3/4. Yeah, so I think he will lose out to John Andrews. And potentially lose out to Dean Wasocki because his pit box. Oh, Max has finished the race. Apologies. While we're looking at where he may finish, Max has won this race. Apologies to Max Mulder, but he has taken the race win. A great win for him. And now we're going to look to his teammate who was 15th in race 1 on his GT3 debut. He's going to come over for a strong P2. That's good for the team already this season and good for Tim.
He is indeed, and Tim's coming home now to make it a 1-2 for them, and not bad for his debut for ACC. Used to Formula 1 cars. Dizzle is going to match what Max Mulder did in race 1 with a 3rd place, and it's now a level pegging between those two, all depending on what happens with penalties. As S2 Mborebek's a solid race for him. He goes P4 with Justin Winter, kind of come home for that P5 position in the Porsche.
He is indeed. P. Williams is going to round the final corner, and he's going to take P6. Not a bad day for him. Sam does finish, I believe, ahead of Dean and John Andrews. I can't see Sam's name on my list anymore, but Paul Williams comes home for P6. Fat Bloke looks like he's going to take a pair of P7s tonight, so not bad for Fat Bloke in this one.
A pair of sevens, it's normally quite lucky.
Indeed. Darren Bell is going to take P8, better second showing compared to race 1. Cranky Duckhead, good 9th place in that Honda NSX. John Gooday, P10, not the start to his season he would have wanted at all. Mark Tucker, he's going to come across for P11. We've already got a few cars finished. Addis Graham in front, who lets Tucker go. B. Craig has finished. We'll have to wait till the end for the names to pop up, because I'm not sure where Sam... Oh no, Sam is there. He's 18th at the minute, I do believe. That then ends the race. Tucker 11th. B. Craig would have finished the race 22nd. DJ Phil... No, B. Craig 23rd, sorry. DJ Phil 22nd. After that, Flores... It was P12, not a bad race for him, a lap down. Dean was 17th, he finished behind Hargent. R. Michelle 14th, M. Ritchie 13th. Not a bad night for them in terms of points. Dean Wisocki disconnection, come back for 20th place, not bad. Micro J's 15th with a 10th, that's decent as well. Kieran Argent, what could have been for him, 16th place overall. Graham Sutcliffe 21st, and that brings up that Max Mulder as well, fastest lap of the race. So going into the championship standings then, they look a little like this as we just sort them out into the full order. It is E. Collin who is tied with Max Mulder in first and second, but then it is S2M Mborebek's P3, Jay Winter P4, Tim Ventic is P5, Fat Bloke P6, P. Williams is P7 from B. Craig in P8, R. Michelle P9, Cranky Duckhead P10, Micro J's P11, Sam P12, D. Bell is P13, M. Tucker P14, John Gooday P15, Kieran Argent 16th place, Flores 17th, DJ Phil P18, Mirko Ritchie P19, Dean at P20, Dean Wisocki P21, R. Smith 22nd, Graham 23rd, Phil Radin is 24th, and then it is the Jackal, Nuclear Waste, Oliver and Andrew Taylor, and Navalati F. Gomez yet to score points in this championship. They wasn't here for the first race of the season. The Constructors' Championship looks a little bit like this, and our first one too go in the way of BSP Racing. They lead the Constructors' Championship 20 points clear of Stage 2 Motorsport. Greasy Bandits down in third from Team FBR. Team Merlot P5 with Richie Corsa. FSO Junior down in P7. Vorta Racing Independent P8. Greasy Bandit Racing Junior P9 Independent as well. And that is a pretty dominant night then if you are a McLaren fan, because the McLarens lead the way by 110 points from BMW. Like we said, they have a couple more cars at the moment. There's a few more BMWs on the track tomorrow, as well as a few McLarens. Porsche off third place, just ahead of Ferrari. Lamborghini down in fifth with Aston Martin just behind them. Mercedes in seventh with Honda, and Ford bringing up the rear. And I believe we do have Max Mulder in the party. Dan, I'm about to cough, so I'll let you take over the start of this interview.
Well, Max Mulder back to the top of the table once again, Max, and a relatively straightforward race for yourself. No real threats from behind. You managed to get into the start of the race and just pull away. Was it really that simple for you?
Yeah, I think I got a little bit luck with the people behind, because Dissel, I don't know if I say his name good, but I know where he went, but his pace was good, but he was not behind me anyway, so I might got a little bit luck when I got away.
Possibly so, but it seemed like the McLaren, once it was in clear air, it seemed to be relatively quite comfortable on its own. It seemed like you and Dizzle are going to be kind of going at it for most of the season by the looks of things. You matching what he done in race one, he's then matched you in race one as well, so it's like you're both level 1 points now. It's going to be an interesting season between you two.
Yeah, I looking forward to it, and I hope more people can join the fight as well.
Obviously, we've got to mention as well, your teammate Tim joins you on onto the podium as well. A 1-2 and his real first go, I believe, on ACC with us here. You've got to be happy with the team for that.
Yeah, amazing for the team. I hope we can continue this.
I'm sure you will. And next race of the season will be at the Red Bull Ring. What do you think you can do there?
Oh, I still have to buy it first.
Oh. Okay, so first things first is to get the circuit. But
Yep.
once you do get the circuit, how do you feel you're going to get on, or is it possibly?
Yeah,
Go on.
I think I have to test it a few laps and then I can say it. But it's not that difficult to do a lap, I think, because there are not a lot of difficult turns. So yeah, we will see.
Just track limits, I'll just warn you that one.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, mate, congratulations on the win, and we'll see you next week at the Red Bull Ring, hopefully, when you buy it.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Max Mulder. Did we get Tim in? Not sure. And what we will do is we will get a post out for the Xbox drivers for next week, and we'll be better prepared for that one for the Xbox drivers next week and set up an interview room in there. Dan, driver of the day, went the way of Dizzle from the audience. It's hard to split Dizzle and Max tonight because they've both done the exact same things and they've both been brilliant, so I kind of have to give it to both of them.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree on that one as well. I'm going to say an honourable mention to S2M Borobeck. A solid drive from him. Tim, obviously, in race 2 was very, very good. And, yeah, all round a good start to the season. It's been fantastic to watch. And already the dramas have kicked in with the fuel problems. And we go to a brand new circuit, a brand new opportunity for drivers, and a track that has horrible track limits next. So could be very, very interesting. Could be very interesting indeed. It was a night of a new race winner and a night of a returning race winner. Max Mulder takes his 19th race win from Diz, taking his first. Diz also got his first pole position, while Max Mulder got his 16th. And what that means as well for the manufacturers is McLaren finally win their first race of the season, taking their tally to 70 race wins as a manufacturer, and that is from Project Cars and ACC. But we move on to the Red Bull Ring in a week's time. Max and Dizzle, the showstoppers here at Snetterton. Can they repeat their fortune in a week's time? Who knows? We will see there. But join us tomorrow night live, 8 p.m. BST, GMT +1 for you in Europe or around the world. That is when the pro action will begin. Still working on commentators, so at the moment we aren't 100% sure who'll be bringing the action. It could be myself with others, it could be Fury with others. Wait and see for who is on the air tomorrow night. But it is going to be an interesting one, that is for sure, as the Pro Boys take to Snetterton. Dan will be returning to defend his crown, that is for sure. Can he do it around there? Dizzle, the fans' driver of the day, and me and Dan are going to separate the commentators' driver of the day for Dizzle and Max to take a joint one. But that is all we have time for. We hope you have enjoyed it. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye. Good night.